I've always been a person that I fall through on my commitments, right? And so I've always been a person where, like joining the Marines, I was scared. I didn't think I could do it, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the act now of signing up and committing myself. And I know I fall through my commitment. So it would be like if I signed up for bungee jumping. I don't want to go bungee jumping. But if I have no desire to, I'm afraid of heights. I don't like it, all that stuff. But if I was like, you know what? I'm doing this.
You are now tuning in to the Relentless Project. Real people, real stories, real life.
So what's up, bro? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
I'm here with Brian Marzka, and we kind of share some geography. Local Erieite coming onto the show.
Right off the streets of Erie, PA.
What did you like grow up in Erie, or did you move there and decide to start your life there? Because I don't understand why people would do that. When my mom moved to Erie, we come from Puerto Rico. You skipped Florida, the Carolinas. You skipped all the good spots, and you found Erie. I can never understand why.
Yeah, you could have grew up in flip-flops.
I still grew up in flip-flops. I'll wear flip-flops in winter, and jiu-jitsu doesn't help that.
That's right.
Right? Like,
That's
you
right.
train jiu-jitsu, you have to be in flip-flops year-round. I don't know why. But
For sure.
How'd you find yourself in Erie?
So I was born Hammett Hospital. My family, my mother's family was from New York City, and then I guess somewhere along their travels, a lot of people from New York, early years, settled in Erie.
So you must be Puerto Rican.
I'm
You're
not.
New Yorican. That's what you are.
But same area was at the Bronx. She's from the
Eureka.
Bronx, and Edwin,
Eureka.
where Edwin Vera's from. That's
Yeah.
where my mother spent her summers. Yeah.
Dude, Bronx. I've ventured into the Bronx, but I'm usually in Brooklyn when I want to, let loose, and then Manhattan when I want a good time.
Yeah. In the Bronx, you got to walk with a newspaper, like you're reading a newspaper so nobody catches your eye so you don't get in any trouble.
Yeah, dude. Like, the Bronx is a whole different place.
Yeah.
Like, you say hi to someone, like, what? You got beef? I'm asking you about your day, sir. I apologize.
Yeah.
So you walk us through your life in Erie. One thing I like to do is kind of get a background of people before we get into all the meats and potatoes, because that's where people connect the most. Like, when you told me you were from Erie, immediately I'm like, oh shit, I got to talk to this dude, because not a lot of people from down here come from Erie,
and not the city, right? Like they're usually like, oh, like
I'm
Tanner's
from
from Oil City. I'm from Erie. No, actually Oil City. Yeah, I'm from. I grew up on Fairmont Parkway.
Okay.
So where did you grow up?
Where didn't I grow
You
up?
were
So
Lower East Side,
Franklin Terrace, Lower East, Franklin Terrace, Bird Drive. We lived a stint on 12th Street, Hazel. I can name it.
Yeah.
I probably lived on every street in Erie growing up. Dude, we moved around so much.
I used to do underage drinking on Hazel. A friend's house on Hazel. So
Probably the same house I grew up in.
Probably right around.
But
there.
there's like a pizza shop up top or something, or it was a pizza shop, and then there's like a little business up there.
Yeah,
We'd always go there.
This was a elderly woman, and my friend rented from her, and she had a little house in the back, like a little one house in the backyard. There was a little house, and he was a 17-year-old, ran off to the Army. When he got back, he rented this house, and we used to have the Red Solo Cup parties there. But so Fairmont Parkway, so Franklin Terrace, like right over the bridge to Buffalo Road, that's where I hung out. Used to be a 7-Eleven there. That's probably before your time.
Dude, there was a gas station right near the John C. Deal Elementary School.
Yeah.
That's where, I grew up there as well.
Yeah.
I grew up everywhere.
Bird Drive, yeah.
Well, so Bird Drive, where I grew up, and then we lived in this house right across the street from the gas station. I used to watch it get robbed from the porch every day.
Dude, yeah, there used to be a Mighty Fine donut shop right there. That's got to be before your time.
No, Mighty Fine is still there.
Is it really?
It's on Parade.
No. There used to be one across the street from the gas station.
Oh, they had two spots.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was a different.
Yeah, it was
there was a
probably
donut shop.
Because Mighty Fine is one on its own, man.
Yeah.
That's the only place in the hood that wasn't wronged.
Is it? Yeah.
Like
'cause
no one messed with Mighty
the
Fine
whole
Donuts.
neighborhood would come after you.
Yeah, like it
Mighty
just,
Fine was right.
You were safe in Mighty Fine. You had beef.
Yeah.
You went into Mighty Fine because you knew you were good. So you step
was-
outside, then things got different. But
It was Shangri-La.
yeah,
Yeah. So, there was a donut shop. Like if you went right over the bridge to the top, there's a shop on the left-hand side, right when you get off over the bridge. That's Leo's Pneumatics and Hydraulics. That's my uncle owns that shop. My sister's the manager there.
it's like still
the whole
there.
family. Yeah, it's there now.
Yeah.
It's been there they've probably been there 17, 18 years, 20 years, something like that.
That's wild.
So right there, 2 blocks up is Fairmont Parkway. Deal used to play football, like in the field with your friends. And
Yeah, I
get in
had
fights.
I had friends who lived there.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I grew up down the street.
20 years apart, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's time?
Yeah.
What's time? What are some things you remember from Erie? Like when I think of Erie, so that bridge, there was always the trains that went under,
Yeah.
and I would sit on the bridge. I had a fascination with trains.
Yeah.
I would sit on the bridge and just stare at the trains, and I always had the police called on me because people thought I was gonna jump off the bridge or something. The cops would come hey, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, can you step back? I'm like, sure, I'd get off. I'm like, what's
Is
up?
this America?
Yeah, no, I was like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah.
And I was at this time I was involved in some shady stuff. So I'm like, dude, what the fuck's going on? Do I run? Do I and they're just like, hey, no, we got a couple calls. People worried about you. I'm like, no, I like trains.
That's cool,
They
man.
probably thought I was lying the whole time. Because think about that. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you like trains, pal? That's weird.
Yeah, he's probably dropping rocks
Yeah.
on people. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I like trains.
Roll.
I would just watch the
Yeah.
trains, the coal trains just drive
Yeah.
by. You're a military guy.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
what got you to do that?
So, growing up in Erie, and then I just, some people want to be a fireman when they grow up. I wanted to be a Marine.
Oh, that was instilled.
Yeah, from a little kid. So when I was a kid, so I grew up in the 80s, high school in the 90s, early, 88 to 92
Some of the
in
coolest
my high
times.
school year.
I watched those videos and I'm like, man, I would have fit right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
The
I
people
mean,
pulling out the new parts down the hallway.
yeah, it's pretty much was that. East High, I don't know if East High was shut down. I don't know where you were at.
When I moved from Erie, they
consolidated
consolidated all the high schools.
Yeah.
So East High, I think, is now a middle school or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, East High, they tried to recruit me for football.
Oh, nice.
They're
Yeah.
like, we have the
yeah.
sticker system. I was like, dude, that looks so cool.
They
I
were
almost
like 1 in 11 when I was there.
They still, yeah.
Cathedral Prep took all our good players.
Dude, they recruit. I don't want to the defamation or whatever. They recruited people,
Yeah,
students.
They did.
You're like, dude, this is high school
like,
football.
We'll give your mom a job in the lunchroom making $75,000 a year. Sure.
Done.
Yeah. All right. I'm in. Free tuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They're
couldn't
like,
wear
what?
the.
She's an employee. That's why her kid gets free tuition. That's how they did it.
I didn't even
Dorian
think of
Hager. Dorian Hager played at WVU. He was my neighbor growing up. He was could run like he was the dopest football player in our neighborhood. He wrestled at WVU, played football, and that's exactly. He went to Cathedral. He was going to go to East. All the coaches were excited. Next thing you know, he's going to Cathedral Prep. They gave his mom a job in admin or something, and I'm sure they treated her well, and it was a good deal for her.
How can you say no?
What's that?
How can you say no?
You can't. Yeah, you can't.
It's like my mom's getting hooked up,
Yeah.
and I get to play for Cathedral Prep.
Or your mom's going, no, you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why would you go to East at the time and you can go to Prep,
Yeah, it's a good school. I remember I played for Central. I went to collegiate but played for Central.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have sports. I remember we got to play at the Prep Stadium, and I was like, it was new. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. That we got destroyed, embarrassed. But I was like, oh, we got to play in the stadium. These kids get to play there every game, every home game.
Yeah. So fun history thing. My grandfather played semi-pro football for a team called the Erie Veterans, and that's what they built that stadium for. They were in business for 2 years.
What was they switched names, didn't they? It was Erie Veterans, because I had a couple buddies who played for that team. It was Erie Veterans, and then
This is 1945,
They're older.
1946.
I always hung out with older people.
Sorry, 48. Yeah.
Because there was another semi-pro league that
Oh, was there?
I think it might have been the same team that just changes names.
There was, and they played at the convention center, right? Did they play at the Erie Convention
They
Center?
started to play at the Erie Insurance Arena. No, that was arena football. 'Cause there was like an arena football league that started too. There's a lot of cool things that come out of Erie now that I think about it.
Yeah, I guess I took you to remind me because I was like, man, I hated Erie. But you know, growing up, mine's similar to yours. Like I said, we grew up 2 miles apart. I was walking distance to the Franklin Terrace. We were separated by a bridge, that kind of thing. A lot of negativity, at least when I was growing up.
I feel like Erie has it took me leaving Erie and going to visit to be like, Erie ain't so bad. Like I grew up hating Erie. Like this city's dumb. It's like you think about it, you have Presque Isle, you have the lake, especially, have you been up there recently?
Yeah.
What they've done with the bayfront, the hotels, the restaurants, like
it's beautiful.
I'm like, it's nice. Like this is a nice place. I couldn't live there.
Yeah.
I couldn't work there.
Yeah.
But
the winters are brutal.
Well, you just saw. So Thanksgiving Day, I'm going to visit my family. And then Thanksgiving night, I like consider, I'm like, do I stay? It's a 2-hour drive. I'm leaving late. I'm like, I'll leave. I start leaving. It's like light snowfall. I'm like, this is nice. Like, I get home 2 hours later, fall asleep. By the time I have woken up, Erie shut down.
Yeah. Same.
No one in or out. Like 31 inches of snow.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, dude, I dodged a bullet. Like, and my sister, she lives in a different state. She texted me, she's like, I can't leave Erie. They're not letting me leave Erie. I got to go to work.
Oh, really?
I'm like, what do you mean they're not letting you leave?
Yeah.
She's like, they shut down the highways and they're not letting anyone on.
That's wild.
I was like, man. Well,
Yeah.
There's no snow down here. So Pittsburgh had no snow.
Yeah, right. That's like it's 10 degrees warmer.
I was like, cool.
Same exact story for me this Thanksgiving. I was like, I'm just going to go home. I'm going to take the drive. But I like to wake up in my own bed kind of thing. I won't have to drive home in the morning. And I woke up. Everybody's like, did you leave yet? You're not going to be able to get out.
Like, bro, I'm in my jammies in my bed. What do you mean?
I know. Nice and warm. But, yeah, so in Erie, I was going, I'd like to say I was trying to get out of Erie or all that. It's nothing like that. I wanted to be a Marine no matter what. Went in the recruiter's office at 17, like probably 16 years old. I'm talking to him in the hallway at East going, hey, man, like, when can I sign up? I'm going to join. How old are you? I am a sophomore. Yeah, call me when you're a senior.
Yeah, talk to me next year. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, damn it, I thought I had one.
There goes my bonus.
Yeah, I need 3 a month. So I go. I am. What would you call it? End of junior year, in the beginning of summer. I was may have been somewhere underage drinking. Get home, allegedly, sneak in the house. Laying on the couch, and if you remember the old school HBO, there was like an intro. It played this song. This just, you knew it when you were a kid in like 1991, and I'm like half asleep on the couch. I hear that coming on. I'm like, oh, I'm going to see what movie's coming on next. They would play this music, and it would show you the title of the movie that was coming on next, and it was Full Metal Jacket. So I'm hyped. I'm wide awake. I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch this. I watch it. I'm halfway through watching it, and I realize they told me once I've officially finished my junior year, I can sign up. I went to the recruiting office the next day, and I was like, you can't deny me. Started taking my ASVAB, started having the argument with my parents.
They were opposed to you going in?
So I'm not sure how I think my dad felt good about it. He was a Navy guy. I think he thought it was a good thing, but he was concerned. And my mother was against it. And my dad said, listen, he's going to do it when he's 18 anyway, and he's going to resent you. So you may as well sign. Because both of them had to sign for some reason.
Yeah. See, I didn't have that problem because Dad wasn't there.
Yeah. But you had the issue. Didn't you have your mom didn't speak English?
Yeah. So I told her.
You hoodwinked her?
Dude, she's still pissed to this day. It's like, dude, that was many years ago. But I told her that she needed to sign, and it was like a thick packet.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, don't worry about none of that. You just need to sign this line for them to talk to me about all this.
That's wild.
And she's like, okay, but you're not. In Spanish, she's okay, but you're not going.
Yeah. And your recruiter was like, yeah, it's fine. Just sign.
Yeah, dude. This was so many years ago, so no one can get jammed up. But dude, there was like things I would disclose in the medical stuff, and they're like, oh, like, don't worry about it. Just put no. Don't worry about that. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like a simple eczema. Like I used to break out and here eczema. And I guess at that point, if you had eczema, you couldn't enlist or sign up. So I told him, he's like, well, how severe is it? I'm like, well, it's nothing too crazy. It just in my inner elbows, I would get horrible eczema breakouts.
Yeah.
Oh, no, put no. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, man, you're the recruiter. No,
he's like, they'll process them out later. Yeah,
dude,
he doesn't care.
He's like, just remember, you have to answer the questions the same way when you get the packet again. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, he's like, all no's. Just do all no's.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. No.
Yeah.
My mom signs. I disappear for a summer.
Did they give you the breakdown about MEPS? Did your recruiter warn you? I don't know if it's the same in the Marines and the Army.
You know how shady this whole process was? So do you know where the guard used to be on parade right on 6th? It was like the old armory.
Yes, National Guard Armory. Yes,
so
I used to take karate there. But yeah,
so that's where I guess they had shut down that and then moved everything to Cambridge Springs during this time. It was around that time.
Yeah.
So I was meeting them at this building, and then they were driving me and like 2 other recruits to Cambridge Springs for drill.
That's wild.
And then they would bring us back and drop us off. And then the one day he's like, hey, you're going to meet here, and then we're going to drive you to Buffalo, Maps, just like a medical thing. You're going to stay in a hotel. I'm like, oh, cool, hotel.
Yeah,
like,
same.
Dude, and everyone talked about this old doctor. The old, hey, he's like, yeah, he shakes like and then they wouldn't tell me what they meant. And like, I think people will pick up. They're like, hey, he has a shaky hand, but if you lean into it, you might enjoy it. I'm like, fuck are you talking about? Well, came the medical portion where they were checking for certain things, and dude literally comes in. He's like, turn around, bend over. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is the shaky hand.
Did he literally have a shaky hand?
Oh, dude, he's sitting there. I'm like, this dude is close to death, and they got this dude making decisions on who's medically qualified to enter the military. Like, dude, he's sitting there talking to me. He's like, go ahead, turn around. I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, it wasn't as bad as, and then we had to do the duck walk. There's a bunch of weird stuff. But like, we sat in a hotel. They gave us the riot act of like, don't leave your room. Don't go to girls' rooms. Don't. I'm like, dude, I'm scared for my fucking life right now. I don't even know what's going on. You think I'm leaving this room?
Yeah.
And then I left to go to the pool.
Did you? Yeah.
Like, I'm by myself. Who's going to say something? They literally dropped me off and left. Well, they will be here tomorrow at this time. I'm like,
you're like, they don't know.
I'm like, well, they probably did know. I don't know. Now that I think about it,
they're like, as long as you get on the bus,
that's
man,
exactly what. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
On the bus.
But at that time, though, I was so scared. I'm like, dude, like they probably have cameras in the hotel room making sure I'm in here. Like, you're a young kid, you don't understand. And like now that I'm older and I realize how the system is, I'm like, but they dropped me off.
Yeah.
Dude went, probably drank and ate dinner, fell asleep at some nice hotel, and made sure I got on the bus in the morning. That's exactly what happened, guaranteed.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, that fucking kid's not going anywhere. I scared him straight.
Yeah.
I'm in the hotel room like, are they watching me right now? like, let me do push-ups so they know that I'm serious about this. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
When you're 17, you're so dumb.
Yeah.
You're just like paranoid.
When you think you know everything. And I'm like, well.
It's the military, man. You got some roommate. They stowed you in your room.
So I didn't have a roommate. So I was like, dude, this is how ridiculous it is. And for a moment, I'm like, what if I got chosen for a secret program and like, you entered the guard, bro. Relax.
They're like, here, I have a special mission for you.
Yeah.
Grab this broom.
You're gonna sweep until the rug comes off.
Sweep the sunshine off the sidewalk.
I've had that one. I had a kid who was smoking during basic. I'm like, how the fuck? They took like we had to bring like specific pairs of white underwear.
Yeah.
This kid has cigarettes.
Yeah.
Dude, they made him carry a fucking log everywhere he went. And they yelled at him, this is the weight of your decisions. Da, 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 da. So like to shit. I remember he was shitting. And he had this log on him. And he's just shitting. I'm like, bro, like, they're not here. You can put it. No. He's like, dude, you're trying to set me up. No. I'm like, how are you going to wipe unless you're left-handed?
Right.
He goes. I was like, this is crazy.
That's
Good times.
Awesome. Yes.
So that it was all a shady. Long story short, it was a shady process, but
it is for sure.
So you join. What did you have an MOS in mind, or were you just like, I'll take what I can get?
So I go to when I'm talking to the recruiter, I said, he said, what do you want? What job? I never thought that was I didn't think about that. And he's like, what do you mean? And I go, well, I want to be the guy with the rifle. I go, who are the guys storming the beaches? You know? And he goes, oh, that's infantry.
That's
and
so similar.
This was Sergeant Russell. He called him. He was such a slimy dude. He was known in Erie. If you talk to anybody around 50, probably between 650 and 60, anywhere near Erie, in Erie High School, they would know Sergeant Russell. He goes, yeah, man, let's do that. Well, then he got booted from the Marine Corps for all kinds of, whatever, nefarious things. Then I had this new sergeant, Sergeant Abdul, very devout Muslim, great guy, right? At the time, I thought, man, I got this guy. You know what I mean? Because he was very much keep everything tight. Where are you at? I want to talk to you every week.
What you would think of Marine to be?
This would be a guy that you wanted for your kid, right? To be under his thumb, because he was going to make sure everything went well, and he was going to make sure the Marine Corps didn't screw you. You know what I mean? Where the other guy didn't care about you, but he was fun.
Yeah, he got his numbers.
Yeah, so Sergeant Abdul goes, I had a high ASVAB score. So he calls me in one day and he goes, why, what makes you want to do infantry? He's like, I'm just curious. And I just said, I don't know. I just wanted to be a Marine since I was a kid. That's what I think of when I think of what I wanted to be. He goes, listen, you're going to have to get out one day and you're going to need a profession. And, I think you should pick something else. I think you should go learn a trade, which was probably, honestly, the wisest thing, right? So I go, okay, I'm going to do that. So I have to put my paperwork in. And there was this old infantry guy, Sergeant McLean, big yoked boxer, probably 5'6", just huge, big arms.
No, I'm Lopez.
right.
No, I'm Lopez.
He's this dude shorter than you, yoked, always had a dip in.
Dude, when I would see them, dude, this horseshoes, I'm like.
Couldn't talk.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to piss this dude. He's gonna spit that dirt at me. I always thought that. I'm like, dude, they got dirt, because chewing wasn't a thing for us.
Yeah.
So I would see that. I'm like, this dude's fuck got dirt in his mouth. When he talks, the dirt comes out.
Yeah, snuff too, not leaf, but it was his lips stuck out, and he was an infantry guy, and at the time there was a guy in charge of MEPS called Major Booth. Major Booth was jacked. I mean, just. These guys were both could have did a show, a bodybuilding show, with 3 months notice or something. And so I go into Sergeant McLean's office and I go, yeah, I was talking to Sergeant Abdul. We're talking about switching my MOS. And he says, he gets real mad and he goes, you think I'm a wimp? He doesn't say wimp though. He's like, and he's in my face. I mean, I'm scared. I'm like, what? He's like, you think I'm a wimp, don't you? And I was like, no. He goes, you think Major Booth's a wimp? And he goes, well, you think you're better than us? And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, no, man, you signed up to be infantry. You're gonna do this, right? So he got me with and honestly, the guy probably doesn't really care what MOS I do. Maybe he didn't want to do the paperwork. I don't know. I mean, it could have been. I honestly think that he just wanted that for me. He's like, if you're gonna go, let's go. If you're gonna be a bear, be a grizzly. You know what I mean? I think that was his
My
deal.
recruiter was opposite. I scored very high on my ASVAB. And here's a quick funny story. So I wanted to be a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
So I go in the Navy recruiting office. And they probably get this a lot. So this is why they probably did this. You want to be a SEAL? Okay. Sit down. We're going to play a video for you. Life of a SEAL. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down. Presses play. Literally walks out of the fucking room. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
This dude, all he did was yell on the TV. Talked about his daily routine being, he wakes up early. He works out, runs to work, works during lunch, bikes.
Yeah.
Gets back to work.
Was that Isaac Greeley?
I don't know.
No, my bad.
Yeah, that was actually, it was something of Isaac.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it. Dude, and I'm like, holy fuck, all this dude is workout, run. And then he's like, when I'm done, at the end of my day, when I'm going to lay my head down, I'll run some more. And I'm like,
yeah.
Video ends. And he's like, all right, so you still want to be a Navy SEAL? Well, the guard office was right next door. I was like, I'll let you know about that.
Yeah.
He's like, all right. I'm telling you, probably kids do this all the time. So they're like, yeah, okay. Literally walk into the guard office.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I want to be in the National Guard.
Let's go.
Like,
Yeah.
so, life of a SEAL was not for me. Fucking hate running. And the dude was just like overly intense. And I'm like 17 at this time. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
You're like, this guy's going to be in my face.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going
Yeah.
on? This is what it takes. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do all that.
Yeah.
So then I take the ASVAB, score high, later score high, and my recruiter's like, oh, so you picked at the time it was 11 Bravo. I guess I don't know if they've changed MOSs or what, but he's like, you picked 11 Bravo. You know what that is? I'm like, I hope so. Like, that's infantry, right?
It's a hard charger.
And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, you see, you scored. I think it was like 98 or something. So you scored this on your ASVAB. You can like almost pick anything. I was like, well, I want to be a pilot. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
No, your eyes suck. I'm like,
yeah, and you got to go to college.
yeah, I was
so
like,
that's not gonna happen.
yeah. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And they're like, oh no, not that.
So I'm like, okay, well, like I don't know anything else. Well, no, I was like, I don't know anything else. Like,
yeah,
and he's like, well, you could get into, you could be a doctor, you could be in information, you can be in this, you can be in this. I'm like, no, I'll do infantry. He's like, they have bonuses.
Yeah.
But I was warned about this before. That they'll incentivize you with bonuses, and then you don't get them, or so whatever.
They give you $300.
Yeah. So someone told me if
they
they mention bonuses, steer clear.
Yeah.
So that was like stuck in my head. So he was like, oh, you can get bonus for this, and I remember I told myself, I was like, he's fucking lying to me. Infantry. So I looked at him. I was like, I want to do infantry.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there was like a higher signing bonus for them for the other stuff, but he was like upset, and I'm like, dude, that's all I know. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Like the video I saw that made me want to come in here after the Navy thing. Yeah. I was like, this is it. Like, I don't know anything else. I didn't look any of this up to know if I'd want to do it. Infantry is pretty straightforward. I get to carry a gun, exercise all day, not run, which was a lie because that's all we did. I should have just been a damn SEAL after that. But he was like so upset. It's like where yours was trying to push you to like, hey, you got all these other options. No, yours was trying to keep you here. Like, no, you're doing this. Yeah. Like, you ain't no bitch. You about to be.
Yeah.
My dude's like, hey, dude, you're a bitch. You should be a doctor. Like,
yeah. And it's now, like I feel like we're in the same circle, so we're all the same kind of type, right? Isaac, Warren, all our friends. I mean, pick any guy, Tanner. Now we're built different. Now my answer to that recruiter would be when I'm going infantry and he's going, no, do something else. I'm saying we're just different, bro. Just let it go.
Yeah, I understand what you're doing.
Yeah,
I don't care for it.
I'll take a correspondence course and learn how to work on trucks or whatever they think I should do. I want to do the thing that I can't do anywhere else,
That's true too. Like,
you
join the Marines, you're putting yourself through all this.
What am I doing?
To get a trucking certificate?
Yeah. And that is
that's what you do, cool. But
for sure.
But the way I looked at it, I'm like, dude, like that's a good way to think about it. Like, I'll never be able to do this anywhere else.
Yeah. If I was a kid that grew up wanting to be a firefighter, I'm not thinking of bro, I get 3 days off. You're going like, no, man, I'm going to fight a fire. I'm going to save a cat from a burning window. Like, I want to be that guy. You're not thinking of like, man, 3 days off, I get 30 days PTO.
I get a Kelly day
You're not. That's not why you wanted to be a fireman or whatever it is, or you're like a police officer. At least when you're a kid, you're not thinking of that. You're thinking man, I want to get the bad guy.
The highlights of that career. That's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, the most dangerous, dumbest shit. So that was me. I was like, I want this. This guy then convinced me to take a B billet, which was security forces. It's kind of like counterterrorism. It was pretty cool.
I was saying, sounds fucking pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's guard duty, right? but it's the highest level guard duty you can think of. So embassy duty is based out of this same school, right? So I did do that. So I was in security forces my first tour, my first 2 years, and like year and a half. And I was at Yorktown, Virginia, and I did a lot of cool stuff. We did a lot of, you're on this, there's a compound. So this is always funny to me. When people come in, they go, I was in the military, and they go, I can't talk about it. That thing. There's a ton of stuff I can't talk about, but it's all dumb. It's if I told you what it was, you would go, oh, that's stupid. It's like guard rotations. It's specific places. Like all I can tell you is like I guarded special weapons. I'm allowed to say that. And if you think about what the worst weapon a terrorist could get away with, that might be what it was. Do you know what I mean?
Nukes. I said it.
Oh,
I said it.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
The football.
Yeah. So it's like that. We work with the Department of Energy. I can say that. Well, I wonder what it was. So it's things like that. Yeah.
That's the big thing now.
Yeah.
Guarded electricity grids.
Guarded electricity grids. Yeah. So I did that my first tour, and then that was all like Fast Company came out of that. That was like a special operations like dynamic entries, that kind of thing. Fast Company was the slick. There was one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. That was like what you were aspiring. That was like the Navy SEALs of counterterrorism for us. And then it was more, you're guarding your facility, and if something gets away from your facility, you're supposed to be on the team to go get it.
Like the aliens?
Like the aliens. Exactly like the
They
aliens.
were getting all that. So I had Mike Pietrogallo on here.
I listened to that one.
Did you? Dude, I think I said maybe 10 minutes of, I did like 10 minutes of speaking that whole episode, because I'm just sitting here like,
yeah.
What? Huh?
Yeah, he
and
was
I had
a
so many
contractor.
questions. And I'm like, I don't know if I
Yeah.
should ask them, because
Yeah.
I don't want to be visited later.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, I don't even know how that works, to be honest. Like, I know I signed forms, I had a clearance, but but I want to be clear. It's not, you have that dude at a party, or he's talking to some girl. It's always a woman, that's like dating this guy, and she goes, he said he can't talk about it. And you're like, shut up.
Yeah,
He
because
can talk about it. But he told you he can't talk
Yeah.
about it. He led you down the road, and now he can't talk about it.
It's so I like, I'll hang around with those. I'm in so many circles. Like I'll talk to dudes like off script, obviously. Like
Yeah.
and I'll ask, and they trust me, so they tell me some shit, and I'm like, you have never fucking alluded to any of that. And they're like, yeah, we're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that fucking makes sense. And then you're talking to a dude in a party where like cameras and videos and everything. He's like, yeah, I did it. I can't. I'm like,
But I can't talk
I don't know
about it.
if I can believe you. If you're so quick that you want me to ask the questions,
Yeah.
and you're probably going to tell me in a public forum,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I just like, all right, pal, that sounds crazy. Like, I'd never done anything crazy in the military, dude. I was in the guard.
Yeah.
And then we parted ways after
Yeah.
a couple years. I'll leave it. Can't talk about it.
Yeah.
But I would never, and I never, if someone's like, did you serve? No. I say no.
Yeah.
No veteran points. Are you a veteran? No. And like, because I'm not. Like, I did 3 years.
Oh, because it was guard, so you don't rack up enough active time. Is that why?
Well, it was
But
the
you
way
are.
we parted. So
Oh, okay.
the way we parted, which still allows me to get a job. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
But I never overindulge, especially in that when there's dudes and women who
Yeah.
enlisted, did their full time, did things that they probably still like lose sleep over at night, and then you have these dudes over here who went to basic training and didn't even finish basic training, and they're like, yeah, I enlisted and I served my country. It's like, didn't you get kicked out? Didn't you get kicked out?
Yeah.
There's a story, and I won't say names, but dude paraded around as a Marine.
Yeah.
Later found out he set his foot on fire in basic to get kicked out.
Yeah.
Bro, you let everyone believe you were a Marine.
That's a rough one. How do you live that down?
And I will never call you a Marine, because
Yeah.
it's one thing, you go in there, you realize it's not for you,
Yeah.
and you put your foot down, you're like, dude, I bit off more than I can chew. Like,
Yeah.
you intentionally did something to get you kicked out, and then now that you're out, you're parading like you went through it.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk about, if you did that, you go, hey man, it wasn't for me. If somebody asked me about it, I would go, hey, it wasn't for me. But I wouldn't want the subject to come up.
Yeah, like same with fighting, right? People are like, have you ever fought? I'm like, I did a couple amateur fights.
Yeah.
Realized it wasn't for me.
Yeah,
it's a whole different, it was fun.
Yeah.
I did all right for never training jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Realized it wasn't for me. Like the people who get in there and like get amped up for it, and like I'm like, dude, you're a different breed of person. I have the utmost respect.
Yeah, I get nervous competing for jiu-jitsu, man.
Even like the fights yesterday, dude. Amateur fights. There was like 2 knockouts in the first 3.
Yeah.
Couple finishes. I'm like, dude, and they're fucking smiling. I'm doing the post-fight interviews in the back. Blood's coming out of their nose, and they're like, yeah, I'm just here for a good time. I'm like, dude,
and that's the winner.
Different breed. Different breed you guys are. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But I would never want the subject to come up and then parade around. So
yeah. There's a lot of I mean, when you hear it, like I have a couple of tattoos that can't be seen with my shirt on.
Do you have an anchor?
I do not have an anchor. No, I wouldn't. I would burn it off of me.
I just had to ask. I'm sure someone was like, he's definitely got it.
I do have a meat tag though. So, but
you've earned it.
I have a right. I mean, it makes sense when you're a swimmer or whatever. It makes sense to have a meat tag. I have my unit logo and I have a meat tag,
which is all fair.
Yeah.
When I found out I wanted to do this, got a house tat, and I had dog tags right here.
Yeah.
You see, I covered that up real quick.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Dude, of course I covered it up.
But you were in.
No, dude. But I was like, this is corny, and I need to get it covered up. I got it covered. I was like, I can't believe I did that.
That is
like I was that dude. I was that dude.
Yeah.
But like obviously your unit stuff, like you were involved.
Yeah, mine's plain, discreet. I don't have it like bursting out of my skin, like dog tags ripping. It's literally just
with
my
the flag in the background.
Yeah.
We've all seen it.
You with the panther.
Which if you've done that, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
We're giving you shit because you've done it.
Still gonna make fun of you.
Yeah,
but
and they expect you to.
Yeah.
If you went through it.
They'll go,
and you did that, they're going to be like, yeah, I earned it and I deserve it.
If you were a Marine, it was like, I was in Jacksonville, there's nothing to do. I was a Geiger Tiger is what we call them. That's where you go to like your schools, MCT, Marine Combat Training, as School of Infantry. And it's like the shaved head boots, like right out of boot camp. They go, it's their first school. There's nothing but tattoo shops, strip clubs, and pawn shops.
Dude, my little brother's in San Diego. He's in the Marines. And
is he nice?
Yeah, he did his first 6. He's like, I think I'm about to be done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dude, like you're young. He got it when he was like 18.
Yeah.
Like, dude, stick through it. Like 20 years, you get a retirement. You're single. You're young. You're in the Marines.
Nah, man, go to the post office.
He's going everywhere. Like they're flying him around different countries.
Oh, are they? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you have the life. He's like, I think I'm going to be done.
What's his job?
He does like aircraft mechanics and like reads the data and all that stuff. Smart kid, dude.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm going to be done, whatever. The next day, I get a video of a bunch of Marines on a tarmac. Like nothing. I just get a video.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? And I see like, someone comes, salute. Someone steps up, salutes. I'm like, this is a fucking promotion ceremony. I mean, this is a promotion ceremony. I'm zooming in.
Yeah.
Next text. I decided to stay. They gave me a bonus. I'm like,
oh, really? Yeah. We were talking about the bonuses.
So he's still in. He's still in. I'm like, they got you with the bonus, huh?
Yeah.
But nah, dude, he's a good dude, man. This is why I think everyone should do the military. I think everyone should be. This is going to piss people off. Everyone should do a year of the military. Everyone should go through basic and do a year in our military, because my little brother got out of high school, and I mean this with respect. I call him Ice. His name's Isaac. Not Grilly though. I'm like he came out of high school, had no idea what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like just hanging out, whatever. Joins the Marines. This kid, like, his fitness blew up, mental health strength. Like, you see the decisions he's been making, his money managing, so everything in his life improved by him deciding to join the Marines.
It's
structure,
no joke.
discipline,
Yeah.
all this stuff. He took that and he ran with it.
That's awesome.
And I saw like a night and day switch in my little brother, who I was like, man, what the fuck's this dude gonna do with his life?
Yeah,
Because he doesn't know. Joins the Marines, now he's like
Nice.
getting reached out by companies like, hey, we want to hire you into the private sector. I'm like, dude,
There's
this is
money
where you
from
get
what I
like,
hear.
and he's doing data shits, like all
Yeah.
tech is like the big thing now. Dude, he's got it made.
Yeah.
Don't have babies unless you want to.
Right.
Don't get married unless you want to. Like,
Yeah. Have him at 40, man.
he didn't get a
You're
Camaro out
25-year-old.
of basic, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. On a like one of those loan lenders, like 30%.
Yeah, he did it all right. I'm
Yeah,
like, no Camaro, no chick came
Charger,
out of the Windworks getting married to you. Like,
Yeah.
you're in the clear.
He didn't go to the Shangri-La in Okinawa and pick up a lady.
Dude, he like lives off base now in San Diego.
Dude, that's wild.
You live in San Diego.
Yeah.
Welcome to San Diego. Anyway, I get off track. Sorry.
No, you're good.
So Marine stuff.
Yeah, so I'm in that. You know, it's like essentially it's a really high speed guard duty. It's really cool, actually. I mean, I got to do a lot of cool training. I got to go to like surgical shooters course, like worked with the Virginia Beach Sheriff's Department and did like tactical training with them where we were the aggressors, like taking turns in a shoot house, like hiding in ceilings, like going all John Rambo on them.
That's pretty sick.
Being like 20-year-olds and these like 44-year-old like potbelly cops coming in the door.
Just
He's
fucking eating pork for breakfast.
yeah,
Damn.
eating their breakfast sandwiches. But so I got to do all that stuff, and then I get dropped to in the Marines they call that going to the fleet. So I was in a B billet. That's not the fleet, right? Fleet Marine Force. So when I went to 2-5. So it's 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines. I got my orders to 1st Marine Division, which is at Pendleton, which is near around, where your brother's at.
That's where he's
Probably at Pendleton or
Pendleton,
or
but he
some
lives off
offshoot.
base.
Yeah.
And then my cousin, there's another base right outside of San Diego. There's like 2 Marine bases in that area.
Yeah. Well, there's usually like the air bases might be different, and I'm just not that familiar enough. Well, like 29 Palms, maybe.
I just know I dropped my little brother. We dropped him off.
Yeah.
And then I dropped my little brother off, and then I drove away.
Oh,
I was
nice,
like,
yeah.
dude, these are really close. They're really close to each other.
So Pendleton's 500 square miles.
Oh,
So
maybe
you
just a
probably just
different
dropped
section.
them. You dropped them to another gate.
Dude, I remember I was like going to
It's
take
all up and
I was
down
going
the
to take
East
a
Coast.
picture of like,
Yeah.
I was like, this is dope. And as soon as I drive, it's like, no cameras. No, then I was like,
as long as you're off.
I was like, never mind.
First Amendment, brother. As long as I'm not on
dude,
your
I
property.
ain't fucking around in no base, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, rules are different in there.
Yeah. Well, if you're in there, you can't. You got to do what they say. It's federal. But
Fuck you, hoes.
yeah. You lose your First Amendment right on federal property.
That's nice.
But so I go to 1st Marine Division, and then you go and they kind of look at you report in the division, and then they look at your folder, whatever you would call it, your file, and they decide. There's just like a clerk that goes, you're going to 2-5, man. I'm gonna send you to 2-5. So they'll make some comment like, they're stupid over there. You'll fit right in. It's always something, right? So you go, I go to 2-5, check in at 2-5. They're like, oh, I had a high swim qual. My standard swim qual, there's WS3, which everyone has to have or you're not a Marine, right? Basically means you're not going to drown. You can float. And then there's
I'd fail.
there's WS2, WS1, and WSQ. So I qualified for WSQ, which was pretty, like, did them all on the same day. It was like by accident. It was like an instructor had more time, was like, hey, do you want to keep going? I'm like, yeah, let me try this out. And got WSQ. And he goes, oh, you're WSQ. He goes, I'm going to send you to Fox Company 2-5. So I go to Fox Company 2-5. I'm in a cab. They drop you out of a cab. So I had to have a high security clearance to be where I was. So when you're there, everybody's iron camis, buttoned up. There's generals from Norfolk stopping in to say hi. So everything's painted rocks, all this stuff. I get dropped off to 2-5 Barracks San Mateo, and it was like being dropped off at Shawshank. And I'm not exaggerating. There's dudes on the balcony telling you they're going to rape you. There's like, dude, they're like, bro. And I'm like, wait, what? This is a Marine base? This is crazy.
It's a frat house, bro.
It was nuts. It was like a Friday evening. So there's dudes out in lawn chairs with bottles of Jack Daniels, just swigging it, throwing shit. And these guys just got back from Somalia. So these are gunfighters looking for something to do. You know what I mean? And they're just yelling everything they can yell at you.
Boys being, it's just a boy.
Yeah. They're like,
It's just a boy. He's a chill guy.
And one thing that saved me was, so seniority's everything. I'd been in 2 years already, and believe it or not, 2 years is a long time. I mean, when you're talking, the guys that are living in barracks are in their first 4 years. So you're like, oh, bro, and they have another deployment in them. So that means they've only been in 2 years. So a lot of these guys actually had a few months on them that I was senior. So once a few of the senior guys found out, like, no, that guy's got more time than me. So they'll tell everybody, hey, man, leave that guy alone. He's good. No, guys, he's good. Or they'll like pound on your door and they'll be like, hey, boot, clean the laundry room, that kind of stuff. You know, like they kicking in your door. And then somebody would always run up and be like, bro, that guy's good. Let's just go back to your room, Marzka. You're good.
You're the boot. You go. Yeah.
I didn't go that far because you just got there. I don't know that these are like, it's like going to jiu-jitsu and getting beat. You're like, wait, these guys are nuts, man. What's going on here? And then you realize like they're just messing with, like they're just normal guys, and that guy's not really that tough, and it's that kind of thing, right?
Well, you don't say that at my factory because everyone there's
dogs. Yeah. I mean,
dogs.
It is a little rough. I mean, it is like
I'm upset still
about you throwing up in the trash can.
I didn't even say anything. It wasn't a trash can. I did outside. I'm civil. I made it outside.
There's still a stain. They
didn't work me
sidewalk.
that hard. I made it outside. And I thought it was my hernia. And I was like, and then finally, I was like, nope, that was just me tired. I was just tired.
What happened was
I went to the mat factory. That's what had happened.
So, I mean, but you know, it's that kind of vibe, right? I mean, to me, the mat factory is the same. That's why I was trying to think about this today because I figured it would come up. I think Isaac and I are the longest. I think it's only me and Isaac and I, that are the longest at the mat factory. We started training together before the mat factory. And then I came right over with him when he started the mat factory.
When was it started?
I want to say it's 15 years ago.
Damn.
So I've been training 17 years.
You've been training 17 years?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah. It took me a long time.
I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran myself.
Yeah.
3.5, 4 years.
Yeah, but I don't want to get off track with.
Yeah,
so
I told you those 4
we'll
years you got intimidated.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to brag, but I'm a blue belt, bro. I'm a blue belt.
Oh, that's a good pick. 4 years is good. You know, if you're going on averages, you're doing good.
I haven't trained since May, so
yeah.
3 years.
So we got to talk about that too, because I know you have a torn ACL, but we got to get into
not an ACL.
LCL?
Meniscus.
All right, so let's
the baby version.
All right,
He's like, we definitely talk.
We're going to talk about. We'll talk about it. You need to start training.
Yeah. Well, so I did the global grappling day, and then now I tasted blood, and now I can't stop.
Yeah.
So.
I don't want to get too far off, but we'll come back to that because I got information for you. So I get to this unit, and then I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? I don't really know what these guys do. It's just the Wild West to me.
It's like a dog going to the freaking Humane Society.
It is.
They're walking them in. Dogs are
when all the pit bulls.
Like,
you're
like, I just want to go to my cage.
Not to be whatever. I mean, Marines are stereotypical, but American Indians. There was 3 American Indians in our unit, and they were the wildest dudes. Like there was one everyone there called him Daddy, and he's a little skinny guy. He's still my friend to this day, and he was probably 135 pounds and 6 feet tall. And I was like, I'm not calling this dude Daddy. And then by the end of it, you're like, he's your dude, man. You just get used to it. You're calling him, and he always had a bottle of Jack, and he was just a tough dude, like just a. Nothing. And I'm like, all these guys are really skinny. And I start like looking around and I'm like, this is no big deal. And I'm probably 200 pounds at the time. And then, you get into it and you start getting ready for deployment and you start doing your workups for deployment. I dropped to like 170 pounds and I couldn't keep weight on because you're just moving all the time.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
And like, it's funny what's considered tough.
Yeah.
Like we made this video. I don't know if you saw it, but where I was like jokingly trying to put Andy in an Americana from guard. Like I was in. I saw
that video.
People were like, "Why would you try to do that?" I'm like, it was a joke. Yeah. Like
the point
I also tapped to his one arm around me, like it's content. Although we were kind of rolling for real, and I, as a joke, tried to implement it, knowing I wasn't going to get it.
Yeah.
But tough, right? Like you look at Andy and you look at me, and you sit side by side. Yeah. People are like, "Oh, dude, Ish, beard, tattoos, 220 pounds." Like Andy made me his toy. Yeah. Like the whole full video, I'm his fucking toy.
Well, and the beginning of that video was him going, you guys were talking about Swish, right?
Sage.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, you can go up to that guy. Go up to...
dude, he plays video games all day. And then, well, not all day because he job and stuff. But like, big video gamer. Yeah. If you see him in the street, you're like, oh, yeah, okay, pal. Dude will rearrange your kneecaps.
It'll make you angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, no. What's tough? It's like, what's in your mind, dude? Like, you see a lot of these, like you said, daddy.
Yeah. Yeah, daddy.
I'm fucking editing that out.
Yeah.
He's a skinny dude, but like, you go, dudes like that don't stop. Like, dudes who are mentally strong, carry that mental fortitude. That's what's tough to me, when a dude just doesn't stop. Till this day, I'll say one of my toughest fights I've ever been in my life, I was whooping his ass. He just refused to stop. Yeah. And I got scared. Yeah. I'm like, he keeps getting up. And like that shit plays that, like, you start to doubt yourself. No quit. Like, that's why these cage fights, dude. When you're hitting this person with everything you got. Like, I just watched a Kama fight at this one he just did in the pit.
In what, Florida, right?
Yeah, in Florida. And I'm like, holy fuck, dude. This, like, Kama just, the fortitude this dude has. You can hit that dude with a cinder block. He'll keep coming.
There's no
give.
There's no give. Yeah, it's I met some dudes. It does change your opinion of through jiu-jitsu, through the Marines, of who you think is tough and what you think is tough and
what it actually is.
People used to say this all the time. So I went to Scout Swimmer School at Coronado. That's where the SEALs go. So I wasn't in the SEAL school, to be clear.
Sounds like a big deal.
But it's Expeditionary Warfare Training Group. That's where I went. That's where the SEALs are grown. That's where Scout Swimmers are grown. That's where Raiders are grown. So that's people would say it's always civilian, like people that never served. They're, usually like tattoos. I'm in the sauna at the gym. At the gym, to be clear, the sauna.
Hey, I've been in there once.
Yeah. I'm not just so anyway.
It's very good for you, by the way. Saunas are very good for you.
Very healthy, good for your blood.
Yeah.
But people bring things up and they'll say, and it's usually people telling me, oh, well, have you ever met a SEAL? And I'm like, yeah, we birth with them on ship and, that kind of thing. And they'll go, well, a SEAL can go into a bar and clean up the whole bar. And it's like, no. Everyone in the bar can beat the shit out of a SEAL and he's still going to keep coming. That's what it means. It doesn't mean he can beat everybody. It means you can do a lot to that guy before he's not going to quit.
Yeah, but everyone else will quit before then. Maybe that's what.
That's right. They may beat half the bar and then quit, but that guy might get beat by the whole bar and not quit. That's the difference, like.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny what that equates. Like, especially like a lot of people who don't train to, like, let's say fight. Yeah. Right? Because we equate toughness with the ability to fight. Like, you give a SEAL a gun, something he's trained in. Yeah. A lot of damage can happen.
Yeah.
But, like, how does that equate to a fist fight? He's not going to fucking stop.
Yeah.
Like, you will have to kill him before he taps. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Those dudes their mental strength is.
Yeah, but they're not invincible.
No one is.
They're not like the most proficient fight. I mean, they have good fight training. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean it like that, but I mean That's more the that's what, the school is trying to do for them is I want to find out where your breaking point is. And if I find your breaking point, you're gone. So those are the schools. That's Marine Expeditionary Warfare Group. That's how the schools are run.
The selection process is like crazy. It's like, hey, you can quit at any time.
Yeah. Ring the bell.
It's like, if you want to quit,
Just ring the bell,
we're not going to stop. Go.
Bro,
that is the part that would fuck with me.
Yeah.
Because how many times do we touch, like during basic?
Yeah.
This fucking sucks. I can't do this. I don't want to do it. You don't have a fucking choice. Like you're being pushed to like keep going.
Yeah.
When there's no one there but you and your mind, and your mind is telling you this sucks, this hurts, I can't breathe, I'm gonna drown.
Yeah.
If I ring that bell, all of this stops. All of this pain stops. If I ring that bell.
And I got a pizza for you, bro. Look, check it out. It's in the truck.
Yeah,
that's what they do. Yeah.
Like, man, I can have a pizza.
Bro, right here. They'll go, Ish, check this out.
Like,
open their door.
How easy is it to
check out
quit?
this pizza. We just got this pizza. We'll go on me. Just stop. That's it, bro.
That's
do it.
great.
Try it.
That'd be
3
tough.
days, no sleep. So, have you ever swam in the Pacific?
Do I look like I swim?
No, but I mean, have you bathed?
I can go from point A to point B.
When you were
Where's the
sunning
Pacific?
yourself?
I'm bad with geography.
San Diego, man, where your brother lives.
So I went snorkeling in Mexico.
All right.
Okay.
It's a little warmer there.
It was a lot warmer. It was a lot warmer.
And you were probably Gulf side too.
Gulf
Cowardly.
side, absolutely.
Yeah,
Water was clear,
Playa
beautiful.
del Carmen. Yeah.
But I don't do oceans, bro. Anyone who knows me, I don't do deep water. But I'm not driven by fear.
yeah.
So like, they're like, hey, we're all gonna go. They dropped a boat. We're gonna go snorkeling. I'm like, y'all some motherfuckers, bro.
I see a progression of the show called Ish Does Everything.
Ish tries everything.
Ish tries everything.
Ish don't do everything. He tries
where
everything.
we just throw you in the,
So there's some dudes, first couple dudes going, there are no life jackets.
Yeah.
But you got me fucked up. And I look at the dude, yo, it's salvavidas. He's like, you?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, give me the life jacket. Gives it to me. I'm there, I'm snorkeling. I love fear. I love feeling fear.
Yeah.
But like, it's also fear, right? So it's like it's a weird relationship. So we're on top of a coral reef, and I'm like floating to the edge, and the water just like the coral reef drops, and the water just gets black.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's freaky.
Yeah. What's there?
And I was like,
what lives there?
What if a tentacle just came up and grabbed me and brought me down? And like my heart starts to flutter a little bit. I'm like, all right, that's enough of that. And I start going back over the coral reef.
Too.
But then everyone gets back in. He's like, oh, we're going to drop over here and then you can swim. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, that's one thing to like float over a coral. I'm not swimming in the ocean.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing backflips off.
Yeah. So I got some good stories for you then.
I'm like, fuck, I got to do
Yeah.
So-
So hopefully, not hopefully, but you may not go in the ocean again. So.
Oh, okay. You
Swim,
can't just say that. Like,
swim, scout swimmer, But so you go to, when you're a scout swimmer, so I go to, get dropped to this unit. We're getting ready for deployment. That's when you go to your schools. That's when they decide, hey man, you're going to be a scout swimmer. We're sending you up for this school. I think 32 they put up. 8 of us make it. 8 of us end up being swimmers throughout the process. There's different things like, you take a series of tests, you get pre-qualified. Pretty much everyone that gets pre-qualified made it, but most people don't get pre-qualified.
I would be disqualified.
Yeah. It's from what it sounds like if you can't swim. I mean,
I can swim
like it's
from
like
point A to point B.
Yeah.
I can't tread water to save my life.
So how's that? That makes no. See, I can't swim, but I can tread for literally days. So.
How does that make sense?
I know, right? So I just don't drown. If you just not, your job is to not drown and not freak out.
You know when I drown? When I get tired and there's nothing there to save. Like,
yeah.
Like I jumped in the fucking water.
How do you not tread?
I get up I swim to the boat, climb the ladder, like, hey, no, come. I'm like, nope, I did it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang out in here now. Like, chilling in here.
So I guess let me try to make sure we're on the same page here. What I'm talking about is like Greg Louganis swimming, like where he's like putting his head in the water and thinking his head out of the water and like stroking.
Whoa.
I can't do that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Stroking.
When he's like
I don't know about that, but
front, right? Front,
No,
front,
but,
like
yeah,
a swimmer where you're like having the time
yeah,
when you put your face in
I
the
can
water.
do that. I can
can't do
swim
that.
backwards. And here's the thing:
I can do it for like 4
I
strokes.
can't tread water, but I can float on my back. Which
Yeah.
you're not allowed
yeah, like
to
a
do
baby,
in
like
basic.
like a baby porpoise.
Yeah,
or
like you're not allowed to do in basic. When we
yeah.
did our swim test, I had to tread water for 15 minutes and and I drowned.
Yeah, but that's kind of how I do it. Is you kind of lean back a little and you just.
We got yelled. No, it's like tread water. I'm like,
that
I'm on the
guy's-
fucking water. I'm on the water.
That guy is a
The goal
micromanager.
is for me to be in the water with nothing around me. Right? I'm doing it.
Yeah. So for the scout swimmer test, there was a series of treading water. It starts with like 30 minutes. Right?
Starts with 30 minutes.
Starts with 30 minutes. And then you go in full boots and utes. And then you go take your boots off, tie them off, put them around your neck, and put them back on in 30 minutes while you're treading water. Then it's a series of stuff like that. Then you do like an hour, right? So it's a lot.
You tread water for an hour?
Brother. Yeah. I mean, that's just I probably that day treaded water a total of 3 hours. Yeah. I mean, dude, you can fall asleep in the water.
You're not going to come here
Yeah.
on my show
making shit
and
up.
making 3 hours. Yeah, dude, you can do that to nap
3
time.
hours. You can people have spent days treading water. Your body just starts to do it. It's your body's an amazing thing, right? Your body survives. Your body's gonna so
My body fucking hates me then.
you can fall asleep in the water, and it's not what you think of sleep, right? You're not getting 8 hours. You might fall asleep for 30 seconds at a time, that kind of thing. And
naps.
if you're putting your head in the water and then coming up, and that's a way of treading water, like when you're resting, your body will continue to do that while you're sleeping. And then, something's going to wake you up, or you're going to choke on some water
shark.
or whatever, shark, right?
Octopus.
So all those kind of things. So I'm not trying to guys that have done this is what you do. And all it is not quitting. It's all will. It's like when they Shark Tank you at Stout, right? Like you go, whatever, it's your birthday. Little Ish has turned 32, 31.
Well, guess
And
I'm
they go-
avoiding Stout June 20th.
30, and they do the Shark Tank, and you're like, man, I can't quit. Like, oh, Warren's up next. I can't quit in front of Warren, right?
He's going to make me quit.
Yeah. Well, he's going to try to make you quit. The whole point is just don't quit, right? It doesn't mean you have to win. You don't have to win. You just don't have to. You just can't quit, right? There's a
You have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Relentless. Look,
relentless.
see, I did
I
that.
think there's a podcast.
Man,
about that.
it's like that's the premise of everything.
It is, man. But that is all it is it's like you don't so that's all treading water is you just keep moving. You're tired, you're gonna fail, you're gonna swallow water, you're gonna do all this stuff, right? But you just keep going. So anyway, that's kind of part of all the testing and all that kind of stuff. And then you go and eventually you go through this school. And I remember, I didn't know that. They don't explain this to you when you go to school, but I'm right at the end of the school. I want to say it was the last day, and we had two Marines, were probably like recon Marines or whatever, that were teaching the course. And I think we had one former Navy SEAL that was teaching our course. We had 3 instructors. And I'm running, and I'm the worst runner. I run like a circus bear. You know what I mean?
Sounds about right for me.
Yeah.
too.
You and I can be running buddies.
Yeah.
So I'm way in the back. We're doing this beach run, and I'm just trotting my feet. I'm going the speed of walking, but we're doing it in a running motion, right?
You're giving it your all.
I'm giving it. I was done, man. This guy comes in. He's walking. He's he was practically walking next to me, and I go, "You're gonna drop me, right?" I was like, "This is it. I'm getting dropped. That's why you came back here." And I'm probably 100 yards away from the group. He goes, "No, you quit shuffling your feet, you're done. Just don't quit shuffling your feet." And he was, that's why he went back there, to watch my feet. I wouldn't have been going any faster. That's quitting. So to him, look, I was failing in a way. I was doing all this, but
You weren't performing up to what everyone else was doing, but you were giving your 100.
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, I would say I felt like I was the weakest one of the bunch. That's how I felt. Like I shouldn't have been there. I felt like I don't know how I got this far. Something weird's going on. And all I did the whole time was like, one more day, man, just go one more. Because that's a course that I could have just stepped out, that I could have just said, hey man, I'm done, I don't want this. And they would have been like, no problem, go back to your unit, you know?
Yeah. What do you lose?
Yeah.
You
yeah.
gain
everybody
comfort.
else got dropped. I watched
Yeah.
guys like college athletes get dropped already. So why do I care? And it's I don't say this in a heroic way. It what really wasn't, in my mind, it wasn't. I realize more of the gravity of it now and the strength in it of being relentless now than I did then. I just thought, I'm like, I don't know, why don't they just drop me, man? Like, I suck. I'm like, feel like I'm out of shape. I'm not like, so that's kind of how you get it. So if you do it there, if you quit there, you can't quit in the water. So if you're swimming and then your final swim, I think, is 5 kilometers and you have fins on, by the way, you have a wetsuit, it's not like,
Still,
it's easier.
I just want to take a second to shout out a few companies who believed in me. These were one of our first official sponsors, so huge shout out. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Carbo Jewelers, established in 1997 on the values of honesty and integrity. Whether you're searching for the perfect piece, need expert repair services, visit Carbo Jewelers in Newark's Ironbound District, where your jewelry is always in safe hands. This episode is also brought to you by Continental Jewelers, proudly serving Hudson County, New Jersey since 1964. Whether you're seeking a timeless piece or need expert repairs, they've got you covered. Visit Continental Jewelers, your trusted source for all things jewelry. You can find them on Instagram at Carbo Jewelers or online at carbojewelers.com. Lastly, big shout out to Carbo Trading. Besides coins, precious metals, and jewelry, if it could be traded and collected, he's probably got it. They can be found on Instagram at carbo.trading. You can find all of our sponsors out online on our sponsor page at therelentlessproject.com. What was that one day for you? Like, why did you keep telling yourself one more day, one more day, one more day, when it would be very easy to quit? And you're already telling, I feel like when we start telling ourselves,
Yeah.
man, like this, you start getting into your head, you're already like, you're losing.
Yeah.
You're against yourself
Yeah.
already. It's like, what was getting you through? Why were you listening to the voice saying one more day?
I don't know, man. I didn't even really want it that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've always been a person that I fall through on my commitments, right? And so I've always been a person where, like, joining the Marines, I was scared. I didn't think I could do it, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the act now of signing up and committing myself. And I know I fall through my commitment. So it would be like if I signed up for bungee jumping. I don't want to go bungee jumping. But if I have no desire to, I'm afraid of heights, I don't like it, all that stuff. But if I was like, you know what, I'm doing this.
Just try skydiving.
I would, yeah, skydiving.
You should do it. I'm telling you.
No desire to. No desire to.
That your whole life will change.
Well,
and you've done some crazy shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So put that in perspective. Dude,
Yeah.
when your foot leaves that airplane and you look back and the plane's still going,
Right.
and you're falling, dude, the level of freedom you experience is unlike any other.
Well, I'll tell you what, you and I do an open ocean swim,
It's different.
and then we'll go skydiving after.
That's different.
then-
We'll go skydiving first,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then
you'll
and then
quit.
I'll consider the ocean thing.
But it's like I've just been like where I'll be afraid, like even competing in jiu-jitsu. Like I just sign up.
Yeah, 'cause
I
then
don't
you-
want to.
You
I
have to.
don't.
you have
And
to
then
follow
I go, man, I can't. I already told everybody I was going to do it.
You kinda
That's why
add
I don't
that-
want to be embarrassed.
You add that pressure to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm like, bro, I'm going to crush this. I don't think like, I mean, I never thought like that in the Marines. So I did that. And I mean, it's like, I wish I had a better answer. I now know that there's people that are telling you to do that. Nobody told me that at the time, and I'm not some genius for figuring out. I don't know why I always had that in my head. How it started was my brother had this like real close friend named Dave. Dave was like a weed smoking, laid back dude. His father was like, enough, you're sitting around the house, you graduated, you're joining the Marines. He had that dad, right? That was like, you're going. I don't care what you want out of your life, you're doing this. And he joined, he got an admin job. He's like, I'm just getting the most laid back job.
Check the box.
Office. If I got to do it, then I'm going to do it the easiest time. He was in admin. Before I left, He was at my house visiting my brother, and he goes, "Oh, you're going to the Marines?" He goes, "Let me tell you something they're never going to tell you. When you're in boot camp, you have up until you graduate boot camp to tell them, I don't want to do this. And there's nothing they can do to you." You know how when you join the Army or whatever, they go, when you go to MEPS, they're like, "You're under contract, man. Well, you'll go to jail. You'll go to prison."
Yeah.
They scare you. And I knew I wasn't. I knew I wouldn't. So when I was in boot camp, for some reason, I felt almost like special. Like I had this superpower, like, I don't have to be here. I can just stop anytime. And I go, but just do one more day. I can do one more day. You know what I mean? So I started getting that pattern. And I think that's where it was completely lazy and completely by accident. You know what I mean?
So I had a similar mindset, but mine was like more reward driven.
Yeah.
Make it chow to chow. That's what I just kept telling myself.
That's a good one, too.
Make it to the next meal.
Yeah.
Make it to the next meal. Make it to the next meal.
Or this got to stop any minute. What if I quit right now and it's 30 seconds later they stop?
That's the worst, dude.
Because then you're
like, one more push-up.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
No, we're not. Okay, one more push-up. Next thing you know, it's like 30 minutes later, 500 push-ups later. You're shaking like this.
Yeah. And that was the other thing I figured out. You know, when the drill instructor makes you do the push-ups until you can't, and he's just making you do them, I can only do as many push-ups as I can do.
Yeah.
I just have to stay down in this position.
And that I feel like that was the worst.
It's hard.
I found myself in this position, and literally, my chest has always been tight. Like I've never been very mobile.
Yeah.
So I would literally be resting. Like I would just lay myself like this, because I can't physically push myself up anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I just hold this, and like my chest is numb, my shoulders are numb, but I'm like, this is all I can do. Yeah. Like I'm shaking, so it appears as like I'm struggling because I am. But like I found like I'm like, that's true. Like if you can only do 100 push-ups, they ain't gonna scare you into 101.
Yeah, it's great. And then every once in a while you eke out another noise and you make it look good, you know. But that is what I would do, and I would go, what are you gonna do to me? Like it was kind of like that. And then once you actually get in the water and you're doing your job, your fear is like, I don't want to drown, man. Like, you know, so you have like a swim buddy, you're cabled to another guy. And
so you both drown. That's
nice. Then we both drown. And I've had times, look, I've had at least twice where I thought it was a wrap and I'm gonna drown. So the most times that I thought I was gonna die were in the water. So
case in point right there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the ocean's an unforgiving place, man. So I don't blame you. It should be feared. It's that's why people drown is they go, I'm going to run out. I'm going to swim out to that buoy. No, you're not, man.
I respect the ocean.
Yeah, you should. You should
respect the ocean.
I mean, it doesn't mean don't get in it.
Fuck out of the ocean.
And then you take this class called Marine Wildlife. You go to school, like school. You're learning about currents. You're learning about wave sets, all this stuff, and how to read them, how to figure out where a rip is and all that rip current. And you start learning about all the things that can kill you in the ocean. And then you're like, wait, what? I thought sharks, right? You go, yeah, barracuda. Wait, what the? Yeah, those, what about them? Yeah, so we normally come off of these reefs. You know, like the rock, there's a name for them. I can't think of them. You know, when the jetty, when they pile up those big boulders out in the ocean to break up kind of the waves barracudas live in there. And they go, guess what? When you come out of the water, you're going to sneak up onto those rocks. Well, barracudas are very aggressive.
They're territorial, aren't they?
Yeah. And then go ahead and stick your hand in their home and see how they like that. Electric eels, conefish, which is like a little shellfish that'll stab you and poison you. And you're like, wait, what? I didn't know.
Do they do this to fuck with you?
No, this is a class. You need to know the dangers, and you need to know if you get bit by if your buddy gets bit by a barracuda, you need to know what to do. Right?
Swim fast.
Swim. Cut the cable, and swim. And go, hey, he got bit. So you're learning all this stuff. Yeah, I didn't like it. But it is what it is. It's your job at this point. And we'd be on these Zodiacs. Petro mentioned the Zodiacs.
Yeah.
When Goggins is talking, David Goggins is talking about who will carry the boats. That's what he's talking about, the Zodiacs. we're coming out, and especially Sea of Japan was by far the worst. You're going out at dusk. Well, sharks hunt at night. So you look in the water and there's swarms. You can still see in the water. It's like very clear. And it's not like 3 sharks. It seems to like hundreds. It's like 50. They're everywhere. And you're like, wait.
And they still tell you to get in.
No. Well, usually you're getting in the boat at this point. You're doing a 20-mile nav run, right? Like you're going to go 20 miles on the boat, and then you're getting in the water, right? Because you're going to an op point. You're going to your operation.
But in your mind, you're like, dude, there was just sharks right there.
And then you go, yeah, but we're going 20 miles. And they're like, yeah, a shark can travel up to 60 miles an hour, and they can be there in 15 minutes. They can follow us there. You know what I mean? Like they go fast, crazy fast. So it's nothing for them to travel 20 miles, right? So it's dark, pitch black. It's now 4 a.m. And they're like, hey, man, go ahead and get in the water. And then you're remembering the swarms of sharks that I saw. And, oh, by the way, sharks don't see very well. Sharks eat at night. They feed at night. And you're like, but we're getting in the water at night. And, oh, by the way, you can't use a chem light. Well, you won't for operational security and all that stuff. You can't use a chem light anyway. But they use chem lights to shark fish because it attracts the sharks. They can see, hey, what's that light? They want to go check it out. So they would go, hey, man, we're going to give you a chem light. We had a platoon company commander, a new SOP, and goes, all swimmers are going to carry chem lights. In case you have a problem, you can break your light. I ain't breaking a light. I'll yell or something. I'm not breaking a light, though, because it's the shark's going to get curious. They don't want to eat you, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
But
yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. So it's, and don't think for a second, like me telling these stories, I'm like, yeah, bro, with sharks, I was scared. I don't care what anybody says.
Shit.
Yeah, you're like,
I'm scared in the comfort of my studio.
But know this about the Marines, and this is why I think I get along with Isaac so well. I should say I'm used to Isaac Greeley so well, is to go ahead and tell him your worst fear. Oh, you fear heights? Okay, guess where you're spending your day? We're gonna make you climb a cliff until you're not afraid of heights anymore. So go ahead and tell them you're afraid to get in water because of sharks.
No, so I was totally kidding about all this.
Yeah,
like, this
yeah.
It's for the content, bro.
That's
It's
right.
for the
That's
content.
right. It's for the content.
I don't have any fears. I fear tacos, steak tacos, preferably. Fear those.
Yeah,
fear
carne asada.
cheesecake. Fear tequila. I really fear tequila.
Yeah.
So if you want to play into my fears, bring bottles of tequila. I'll fucking freak out.
I know. You're afraid I'm going to drink them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, not to be dramatic, but that's the job, right? Like, I mean, that's to me was and then you're going to, and then my job would be, we get 500 or 1,000 meters offshore, and then I would get out and swim to shore and make sure that there's a safe place to bring the boats in, make sure there's no like enemy waiting for, because if you drive a boat into a beach, you can't just turn around. You know what I mean? You're kind of if somebody's waiting to shoot up the boats, you're
you're going to have to
you're kind of screwed
the whole time.
Especially if you hit the beach, But anyway.
So obviously this comes to an end, right?
Yeah.
We could talk about this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
how does that transition? Because it seems like a lot of hands-on technical expertise that you've gained for this. How does that translate into civilian life for you? Like, what was your plan when you decided to hey, done with the military? What was your game plan to transition into a civilian career or a civilian life? Or did you have a plan? Or because I know a lot of guys come out and girls, and they come out and they're just like, the world is my oyster.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens. What was that plan for you? Like, what happened?
I didn't have a plan, really. I was nervous because I wanted to be an attorney was my initial plan.
Then Put you in the fucking courtroom.
Oh, jeez.
Swimming with sharks. Oh, look at, did that. Did that.
See what I did there? So, and then I found out that there were lawyers that made $20,000 a year. This is 1996. So I would start talking to people, and I knew a dude that was an attorney. I was like, what do you make? He's like, I make like $35,000 a year. I was like, wait, you just went to school for 7 years. So now I'm 22. I got out of the Marines. I had no money, made no money in the Marines, You make like,
You didn't get a Camaro?
yeah. No money
That's where you
down.
messed up, bro.
I know. I should have filed for bankruptcy. Got a free Camaro.
You could go through a couple divorces.
I very narrowly.
Let me
dodged
stop. I respect our men and women in the service.
that. Yeah, but it is
This
like
is part of the respect. You gotta the stereotypes, right?
it's all real though. But I mean, how did you get away with no Camaro?
Because I was broke.
That's
I
what I
had bills
mean.
to
Is
pay,
you,
dude.
yeah, but you sign your credit. Hey, man, we can dock that pay.
Dude, I didn't want anything to do with. I just wanted to stack up because I was told you can buy your Camaro after in cash.
Because you're gonna
I fucking got out. I said, "What fucking cash did I have?"
you're gonna stack bands.
Yeah,
while
dude,
you're in.
I got lied to. That's all I'm just saying.
Yeah,
but
yeah. The green weenie.
the-
The big green weenie.
You're
that
a
strikes
weenie.
again.
But no, I don't even like the Camaro. So
Yeah.
like, all I want
No,
to
it'd be
do.
a Charger.
I didn't think I was getting out. One, I wanted to do a career in the military.
Yeah.
that didn't happen. So next best thing is what? Law enforcement.
Yeah. Better gig, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love
you
what
get
I
to
do.
date nurses and
Although when I do walk into
ER
like,
nurses.
it's so funny because there is that stereotype
Yeah.
too. I'll walk into the ER and everyone's like, and I'm like, I'm very.
like, oh my gosh, it's Ish Lopez.
No, they don't say that. I don't think anyway. But I'm very like critical of myself, right? So like I walk in and everyone's like, shh, and I'm like, fuck, like, do I got something in my beard?
That's how I am. Yeah.
So, like, I'm thinking the worst. You know, do what I have to
They're
do,
like, they
and I'm
probably
walking
think I'm
out,
fat.
and like and the one nurse I know, I'm like, what the fuck is everybody looking at me for? Like, oh, they always talk about the guy with the tattoos who comes in. And I'm like, I'm fucking leaving. Like, I'm leaving. I'm not a piece of meat for you folks.
Yeah. Don't you have jobs to do? Yeah.
They're like, they all stop, and I swear everyone just started looking at me like and everything. I'm like, fuck, what? Like, did I fuck something up? Like, and it's like,
Bro.
all drama or whatever. But how the fuck did we get to that? That was a good segue to that. Good job.
I was trying
Good
to
job.
get it off me, even though I'm doing a podcast.
When did you start jiu-jitsu? You've been doing it
So-
for 56 years. That makes you 62.
Yeah, something like that. So, I boxed in the Marines a little bit. I was terrible, but I boxed.
You did the Crucible?
Nah, but Crucible's like not actually 100% sure. I know I've done it, but it's like a march. You do like it's like a field exercise.
Oh, it's a field exercise.
Yeah,
What do you guys call the pugil sticks? I always see that.
Yeah, that's dumb. Yeah,
That's coming around everywhere too. I've seen it.
Yeah, like
I think
American
the
Gladiator
Guard
style.
does it now,
I
too.
did pugil sticks. You do something when I was in. You did something, and I don't think they do it anymore. You do combat.
We had the Combat Warrior Challenge, I believe it was.
It's something like that. It's like they would put you in like a 4 foot by 4 foot ring. And it's worn down. The dirt is worn down into like a crevice or like a
Kinda
crater. So your feet you're constantly being pushed towards each other because you can't stand. You can't even use the whole 4 feet, and you can only throw ones and twos. So
I'd be exhausted.
jabs and crosses for those that don't know. You can only throw jabs and crosses, and it's called hitting skills. That's what it's called. And it's designed for you to get hit a lot, even if you're good. Because you know how it is. It's like everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. There's kids that join the military that have never been punched in the face in their life. They didn't grow up on the streets of Erie like Ish, you know?
And that's the crazy part. Like, I feel like I always grew up fighting, so I thought it was like a normal thing.
Yeah.
And there's people I'll talk to today in their 30s and 40s who have never thrown a punch.
And I'm like, wait, some guy in the lunchroom didn't throw a haymaker for no reason over the top and hit you in the head? Like, that's never happened to you? Like,
Or
what
like,
do you...
Not even that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you never trained, or like no one's ever attacked you? You've never
Yeah, you never taken
been
a
a-
subway
yeah.
or the L in Chicago and got hit by a homeless man?
Dude, that blows my mind.
Yeah.
I've gotten into fights by accident a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. When you, especially, I went to Catholic school 1st through 5th grade, St. James. We had fights
St. James, they had the festival.
every day.
The St.
Yeah.
James Festival.
Yeah. The meanest nuns, man.
So I've heard. That was like a rumor for like everyone around there. They'd be like, dude,
Sister
they
Colette.
have nuns.
Yeah, it was real. The fear was real. She was mean.
See, I think that should be a thing.
What?
Like, I think
Have nuns run
running the schools. Like, if my daughter came up to me and she's like, sister so and so, like, I'd be like, what'd you do? Because I know my daughter.
That's what my parents.
Because I know my daughter.
Yeah.
Like, you give her mouth, because you give me mouth, and I'm your father. So you're gonna tell me you didn't give one of these strangers who you don't know? I know you did.
Yeah. My parents would say, people don't just do those things for no reason. And I'd be like, yeah, sometimes they do.
The world we live in today, actually, it's very plausible.
Yeah.
So when did you get into jiu-jitsu?
So jiu-jitsu, 2008, roughly. Might have been end of 2007.
So you were just like, you were into the kind of like martial art.
So I always like treated my body like a dune buggy. You know what I mean? Where it was like, I boxed. I was in the Marines. I was always craving that. I want to do something. I want to be physical. I've always lifted weights, and I'm like, what am I lifting weights for? If it is not to dominate another man, right? Like physically. So, without looking them in the eye.
Why'd you do that? You just stared me in the eye. Hey, because there's not enough tequila in this bottle, baby.
It's special if you're looking each other in the eye.
I just saw a video online. Who sent it to me? It was a guy pranking one of his coaches.
Yeah.
And it was like the dude was new. And he's like getting balled up, but the kid's like, hey, you have very beautiful eyes. As the instructor's like choking him. He's like, hey, can I take you on a date? And he's like, what? Don't talk to me like that.
It was a Brazilian dude too. Yeah, where they get real mad.
Dude,
they
they
don't think it's funny.
Literally chokes him out, and the dude taps, and he's like, oh, I enjoyed that. And he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
And he just gives up.
Dude, he stops, and he's like, do you want to fight? And like, the dude gets up, he's tying his belt. He's like, do you want to fight? He's like, no, I'm saying, do you want to go on a date? I will pay for the date. And another coach comes over, like, what is going on? And he's like, it tells me I have beautiful eyes. Thank you, but don't do that. I don't like that. Like, he gets so fucking pissed because he's like, I'm choking him. He likes my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny.
The Brazilians
that's jiu-jitsu, bro.
They don't find it funny. Yeah.
They don't find anything funny unless they're fucking killing you.
Isaac and I's first coach, Ed Vincent, he didn't find that stuff funny either. It's not, and he would hurt you.
They're just like serious individuals sometimes.
Yeah. He would just get wigged out. But so I was moved to Lower Borough. I was married at the time. My ex-wife was from Lower Borough. We bought a house there. I was going to this gym that was upstairs from an ice rink. And where you had to walk to the stairs, there was a birthday party room that had like a glass door. And it'd be like dudes in there wrestling and whatever, right? So I was like, that looks like fun. So I was asking at the gym, and I go, hey, is that a class? What's going on down there? Do I sign up here? And they're like, no, we'll give you the guy's number, though. He's a trainer here, and he teaches a class. And I just signed up. I started doing it. Never quit,
Started, and that was it.
That was it, man. It was a wrap. So for me, it's that camaraderie. You know what I mean? If you suffer together, this is why frats do. I always found it silly, right? Coming from the Marines, I'm sure even the time you were in the Army, they're doing what do they call that? When you first join a frat and
the orientation?
No, when they make you put cherries in your butt.
The hazing ritual?
Hazing rituals, or there's a term for it. Yeah, like they pledge week or whatever.
It's when when you're going from pledge to in the whatever. I hung around frats. I thought the idea of buying friends was stupid, and then I realized now that I'm an adult.
And then you're like,
I was like, fuck, I should have joined a frat, dude. Everyone's friends.
Those guys
still.
and they're working at hedge funds,
dude, and they're all friends.
They're making $400,000 a year because their buddy gave.
Yeah, it's like, what school did you go to? Penn State. Oh, yeah. Were you in Greek life?
Yeah, bro. Were you at Phi Beta
I was in whatever Delta 8-5, whatever. Yeah, I was in Delta 8-5. Hey, start tomorrow.
Yeah, here's a handshake. Yeah,
it's like, shit. What's the secret handshake?
That's like Cathedral Prep in Erie. Yeah,
it's like, well, you're hired. Like, fuck.
Yeah,
maybe it was worth it.
Yeah,
but like, it comes to this thing, like, not to throw shit at Greek life. I know the premise. The premise comes from like, For example, if someone came up to me and they're like, "Hey, I'm from the Mat Factory. I train with Brian, Isaac. I'm going to listen to what you have to say."
Yeah.
Because I know the type of people
There's some credibility.
Isaac brings into the gym and works with. So it's like, you're not buying friends. Like, you're paying a fee to go there.
Yeah.
And surrounding yourself with these people. But that fee not only gets you trained jiu-jitsu, but it opens you up to an amazing network of people who happen to be doing the same thing.
And
so,
if you can last, right? Yeah. Because so many people quit jiu-jitsu.
If you're in the door and come out,
or they tear their meniscus and they stop training, and then they try to go back, and then they're like, but now I'm busy.
To go back.
I'm really busy. I'm gonna hold you to this.
One does not try.
I'm gonna.
Did you see my last video?
I did.
I did work.
I did see that. You were sweating profusely.
I'm sweating profusely now. And I'm sitting down talking. Not a good defense.
We're gonna get you back. We're gonna fix that.
No.
So
you're gonna fix my knee?
No. You're gonna.
Isaac agreed to take me on as a project. Yeah. Oh, Isaac, thank you so much. Thank you for fixing my knee. I just held you. It's on video.
Yeah. So Isaac fixing your knee will involve you training. I hope you know that. Have you gone to him yet?
No, it's like 50 minutes from me.
Oh, come on, man. He'll cure you.
Those big claims.
So I have no meniscus in my right knee. I had it removed.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah. So you do have to. This is serious advice.
Please take, because I'm listening to people who have dealt with the same thing and then have gone back to training, because like this is the first time I've ever done this, and like I know a lot of it is psychological, right? Because like when I was rolling on grappling day, I like felt good, but every time I put my guard in, I'd get this like
when
this
you
memory
turn,
of
like that daily Hiva
turn.
And
I'm like, all right, and I'd remove my guard and put my left one in. I'm like, fuck, like, is it gonna tear again? Is it gonna hurt? And a lot of it is no, it's not. Have
you had surgery? I mean, like where are you at?
Yeah, so
how long ago?
July 10th, I had surgery.
Oh my God.
And I've been doing PT 2 days a week.
Yeah.
Since then.
Okay, start training. You're good. You're good.
So
Dr. Greeley.
My PT says.
Dr. Greeley. Listen, your PT is always going to tell you not to train.
No, I know, and like he's actually a good dude, and I will shout him out because they're next level. Yeah. And he flat out told me, he's like, dude, if you feel all right, good, like do it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not versed in rehab for jiu-jitsu, but I'm going to do the research for you. He reached out to a lot of people who specifically do knee rehabs for MMA fighters and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, if we can get your, he deals with numbers a lot. He's like a nerd. Shout out Pat, but he's a nerd. He's like, we can get your ratio to this. I feel comfortable that you will be doing good when you're training. And we got my numbers there. I did Global Grappling Day. And now I'm like, all right, let's do it. So obviously I decided to go back Christmas week. So that's fun.
Nice.
But
but
it is what it is.
So one of the things I learned, not necessarily specific to what you're talking about, one of the big lessons in jiu-jitsu, when I first started, the first few years, if I had an injury, I would go, my knee's injured, I'm gonna give it 6 weeks, and I wouldn't come to jiu-jitsu, right? And my first coach, the Mat Factory was already open. He used to teach a class there, and they had wrestling classes. It was a little different than what it is now. And we were sitting, I remember, on the side, like watching people roll. And he said, I just came back from one of my hiatuses. He goes, you realize if you wouldn't quit, you'd be a black belt by now. That's not true, by the way. Like, I wouldn't have been a black belt. I mean, he did say that, but that broke me. I was like, man, 6 weeks here, 8 weeks there. Now, dude, 17 years to get my black belt. Tanner's probably, he's not far behind me. He's probably 13, 14 years. He's not 17. Ask most people how long it took him to get a black belt. I got mine last year, so call it 16. So not that I was in a race to get my black belt. I wasn't. I mean, I don't think you should be, but there's guys getting a black belt in 8 years, 7 years, 10 years, like legitimate guys. A guy that trains 5 days a week is probably going to get in 7 or 8 years. We know the cycle, right? But let's say it's 12. Let's say the average is, a normal 10, 12 years. I'm at 17. So watched so many people surpass me. I've watched so many people, so what I'm saying is I'm not saying to go injured and go full speed. Go to fundamentals class. Just drill.
So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just going to
Keep
dial
your
it back,
mind in it.
fundamentals.
That's what you should do.
See how I feel for the
Just
live
drill.
roll, then do the live roll, then intermediate, then open mat.
Yeah.
See from there.
And take your time. There's no rush, man. And I will promise you, when you go back to rolling, every time I hit a peak was when I came off an injury. Because I sat back, I did my fundamentals, I worked because that's all I could do. I couldn't roll. So I was like, find a partner. If it was an open mat, I'd find somebody else that was injured and go, hey man, I had a broken neck, major neck surgery and leg lock Zach. I go, hey Zach, is it cool if we go back here and just do leg locks? Because I couldn't have my neck grabbed. And I trust leg lock Zach is disciplined enough. He's not just going to wildly grab my neck. He's the best leg locker at our place. And I was like, tell me what you hate, what I do, defensively. I'd rather you be over here. And then that way we would break it down. He would make me better to make him better. And I learned a lot more about leg locks while I was recovering from my neck surgery. Like things like that. Yeah. That's all I would say to anyone
be very intentional with your training when you're.
But those 6-week breaks, 8 week, and I know you're busy and you do other stuff. You lift weights.
Never,
so I'm just messing with you.
But
it depends on what you want.
That's the thing. Because one thing I hate is, I'm too busy. Because not that I'm and this is not to glorify myself. I am not anything special, but people will look at me like, oh, how do you do all this? I just fucking do it.
Yeah.
I just do it. Though. I just do it. I have my job, my career, law enforcement, which I don't have a say in that, right? So that's fixed. So everything falls off of that schedule.
Yeah.
And I literally just look at my calendar and I'm like, I want to hit jiu-jitsu 3 times this week.
Yeah.
So I plug that in. That's my priority. Yeah. Well, I can't miss the gym. Gym is a priority to me as well.
Yeah.
Plug in 5 days somewhere.
Yeah.
And then everything else trickles. If I have a client for real estate, that's obviously becomes a priority. So if they want to show a house this week, I got to plug that house in.
Yeah.
So I put it on my calendar so that it's kind of like that announcing something you're going to do so that you have that pressure, right? I put it on my calendar because now I have to do it.
Because now you either have to bitch out and take it off the calendar. And you're like, no, man, I commit. I said I was going to do this.
Not to be dramatic, but that's exactly it. Yeah. I fucking promised myself this. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. I have to.
Accountability.
If I'm tired or whatever, it's like I told myself I had to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning. I gotta leave, and I'm miserable, and I may skip breakfast that day, or I don't drink my morning water, and I'm like fucking motherfucking myself as I'm driving. But
you made it.
I'm there,
and then tomorrow will be easier to do it because you did it yesterday.
Yeah,
and I don't say it from a place one thing I hate is about the internet age and you children, you kids with your internets and your social media.
There's only one internet, pal.
And so is the false idols, right? These people, they know what to say because Jocko said it.
Dude,
so they come on, they go, if you put it on your calendar, you better have it. I know you live it because I can see what you do.
Dude, look at
You're a cop, you're a real estate agent, and you're actually doing those things, by the way. You have a podcast and you didn't do 3 podcasts
look at my
and
calendar.
take a month off.
This week.
Is the red one open?
No, red one is work.
Oh, okay.
I've been working
so
a lot of
8 hours, 12 hours.
12 hours. I've been working a lot of overtime.
Yeah.
But I even had lunch with Tanner scheduled in there because that was a priority. Oh, Tanner Hall.
I saw Tanner yesterday. 2 days this week. We're doing a deal.
A deal?
Yeah.
What do you do for work, for a living?
So I have an office furniture company. Yeah. There's so much, man.
Dude,
we have to run it back.
You do the same thing too.
Yeah, I do.
You do a lot. So office furniture company.
So I have an office furniture company, and look, it's not about the office furniture. I like to create, right? So I design workspaces.
Man, I wish I had an office I could get furniture for.
I know, man. I already have ideas in my head, and I already have things I'm working on. When I walked in, that I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna set you up with. So don't worry about it.
Let's work.
Don't
on
worry your
something.
pretty head about it. I got it all figured out for you. I'm
You
just
have
gonna
a pretty
bring,
head.
and I am bad at that. I'll just bring it in and go, no, man, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna do that. But
I am
we
not
haven't
a
gone through.
fashionista or anything.
yeah.
If you can tell, this is. I think that
we'll-
was Wayfair. Wayfair.
Yeah.
Wayfair.
Dude, look, and you know what? I'll run into, I come into people's offices and I'll design them. So ideally, I'm working with like large organizations, but that's not the fun ones.
One day.
You
Large
will be. You'll be that
organization.
guy.
Yeah.
It's so like let's say BNY Med, our biggest client's the VA, right? So we have a contract with the VA. We handle their warehouse. So if they need 3 stations, they go, hey, Brian, we need 3 stations. Jake Lowry, you know Jake?
Yeah.
Jake works for me. He's my chief tech.
So do you guys design the furniture, or do you go in and provide the logistics of what is needed, what can we, and like serve as the middleman for that?
All of the above, yeah. So we don't make it, right? We
Okay.
assemble it, if that makes sense. So first of all, there's 2 different kinds. So what we do for the VA is basically a service contract. They already own the furniture. They do buy new furniture. They do buy. It's kind of gets complicated, right? Because it's all proprietary. So if they're buying one brand, they have to continue to buy that brand. They can't just switch on a whim.
Because they have their own contracts.
It all
and-
connects
yeah.
together, and it's all. But we have an awesome contract. We're very grateful for. It keeps us moving. It keeps revenue monthly. And then my favorite projects to do are like Ish is opening a studio, and he's like, "Man, I don't know what to do." And I come in and go, Ish, tell me about what are you going to use this space for? And then we go through the bunch of questions, and we go, okay, how many people are coming in, and how
So
many
you got a
people are you
second?
interviewing? Yeah, man.
Think of this.
Yeah.
So one thing I've always wanted to do. This was not I didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
I kind of fell into this because this is your
You mean
typical
podcasting or this office?
podcasting.
Yeah.
Well, this office. I
Okay.
fell into podcasting too. I just wanted to talk to dope people and put it on camera. Well, that's
Yeah.
a fucking podcast. But so now I'm a podcaster. I hate that.
Yeah, you're an influencer, buddy.
Nah, don't you ever. So like one idea I had was like to be real chill, like couch vibes.
Yeah.
So I want to like have like a wraparound couch with a little raised table, and just like be kicking it on a couch,
Yeah.
talking like you're with your friends in your man cave or something.
Yeah.
So like I don't know what you can do with that, but like I think it'd be cool to have like a little like on a platform maybe.
Yeah.
I have ideas too.
No, I think that's a good idea. I mean, like, I don't know from the sense you know more from doing the podcast, like what the vibe, like
I'm the
from
vibe.
that.
You're the
so
vibe
I
provider.
usually, that's exactly it. So
Get
this
it.
is what I do with people's businesses where I'll go, tell me about podcasting. Tell me about like what's better. And then you go, or like I may throw that idea. Let's say you didn't mention that. I go, what do you think of this? You go, no, actually, I don't like that. Here's why. Good. Okay. Well, now I've learned something about your business.
Okay.
And then I can go, okay, so couches are out, or they're in, or the table's out, and let's get a couch. It doesn't matter to me why, but I will explore it with you
That makes
because
sense.
I want to understand why, because I want to make sure. So it's like the police with the law. Is it the law or is it the spirit of the law? Like, are you breaking the law, or it's like, well, the spirit of the law was this, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I want to know the spirit. I want to know where it's coming from and why, because in the future I may end up making a mistake that messes up your vibe. It may be couches, but there may be some odd difference that it wasn't what you intended, right? It may give a different result.
That makes sense.
I mean, couches is pretty simple, but
So this is a B2B thing.
it's a B2B for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't like to do residential, although we're gonna make some moves in that. It takes just as much work for me to do residential as it does. It takes just as much work for me to set up somebody's home office as it does to set up 20 offices for a business, right? So it becomes more difficult, if that makes sense. It
Becomes more
not
involved
economical.
with less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the way the pricing is, there's a balancing option of there's a point in no return profit wise where it's just I'm losing money. But either way, so the sofas, this is what I normally say. So if you were a hospital or whatever, like the sofas and stuff that we sell are like $4,000. Like it's a commercial grade. There's like you can vomit on it. You can do all this stuff on
Bring
it.
that. Okay.
Well, with the tequila, you might need that.
I don't. That's not.
But initially, I would go, Ish, I can do the design for you. This is what I do for like friends or like small organizations where sometimes it's somebody I don't even know and they called me in. If you like called me in and I go, let's do this. I think you should do like a sectional sofa from like IKEA. Because I even think with the IKEA, we may figure out a way where we can modify it so we can almost custom. We can modify one piece to make it fit so we can kind of custom fit it to this room, you know, or maybe we get lucky and we don't have to play with anything. It just fits right. And then we'll get you a table. It's going to look good. And then I'll just send you a link and I'll go, dude, just buy it. Just get it. If you need help with delivery or whatever, just let me know. And we'll send Jake out with the truck and charge you $100, you know, whatever we'll do. So that's usually.
So you take care of the entire, like instead of me going out and doing the research and doing this, you kind of do that for people.
I do, yeah, and I'm doing it anyway. So if I don't, even if I go out to a stranger and that happens and I can't really help them, I hate just going, yeah, no, not for me. You should go to IKEA and walking away. I think it's just rude. It's just a little like you go, well, dude, I'm sorry, I'm not that big. And then one day when that business is big, they're going to go, you know, that guy, I mean, I get it. I didn't buy a lot, but he also didn't want to help me then. So
no, what I mean is like, so I'm trying to understand your business. So you're essentially like a consultant / install. You take care of that entire process for someone looking to furnish an office or an area.
That's exactly it. Yeah. I
what made you
develop
get into that?
workspaces, you know? So
like it's so niche. And the reason I'm asking is like, cause
it's weird. Yeah.
It's not weird. It's very niche. And it goes to show you the amount of, like we're in a business era. Like there's going to be a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners coming out of our era we're in now.
For sure.
Like everyone, think of these influencers who are essentially business owners because they create content. Essentially, they are they have made themselves a business. They themselves are a business.
They are. So
like
fighters,
it's crazy.
Fighters are a business.
Fighters
and this is an
business.
argument. The fighters at the Mat Factory hate me for it, but I always go, oh, well, where's your Instagram? How come you don't make more Instagram followers? Why aren't you putting content out? Why are you I don't want to be an influencer. Well, you better get started because.
And here's the thing, dude.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lucas Siebert.
Yeah.
Because he's realized it's unfortunately it's a social media world.
It is.
Like he's realized, and not to be biased, but whoever's shooting his content is fucking phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
That team, Relentless Media Group, they are insane.
So I've heard about this new business that's been on the in that space, right? Relentless. Tanner Hall mentioned.
Oh, you already talked to Tanner Hall?
Dude, I know I'm everywhere.
I just had
I'm
lunch
in the Black
with him.
Belt Network. You don't know, you're a blue belt, bro.
I'm in the Blue Belt Network. We don't talk a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we know everything. We know all.
We just talked about. That's crazy. But so it is a social media world, and businesses are popping up.
Yeah.
And so I think it's. I don't know how I got to this. We're talking business.
No, everybody's a business, and you have to treat it like a business.
How you got your like? What made you decide to get into that field? Because that's something that I guess you wouldn't think about, and there'd be a hole to fill.
Yeah.
Right.
So when I got out of the Marines, at some point I got into sales. I sold like carpet, and I realized sales was going to be my thing.
Carpet sales.
Just selling carpets. Housewives would come in. You get your tax return, refund, and you come in and get new carpet for the house. That was me. I was that guy. Like you came to me. So did that. That didn't go well. Somehow got into radio advertising. I think I just like applied for a job in the newspaper. Rocket 101, Star 104.
Dude.
I was sold advertising for Star 104.
Fun
Rick
fact,
Rimbaldo.
I lived on top of the studio.
That one
store?
all the way out in Harbor Creek?
The Boston store place.
They were in Harbor Creek when I was there. But yeah, I have heard.
Star 104.
Yeah, I sold ads for Star 104 for like 3 months, man. 6 months maybe. I learned more in sales in that 3 months though than I've learned. It was like going to a high-paced school for sales.
Dude, you know what like hit sales for me?
What's that?
When I worked for the Erie Bayhawks. You ever heard of Erie?
No.
They were the Erie basketball. They probably left. They were after your time.
Yeah.
Fucking old guy.
I've been here since 24 years, brother.
Okay, so the Erie Bayhawks were the NBA's at the time. It was the D League. Now it's called the G League. So they're like essentially their farm team for. They were the Knicks when I got there, and then the Orlando Magic.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's kind of like you heard of the Erie Seawolves?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like the Seawolves with the MLB. They're like the farm team for whatever baseball team. So when I worked for them, I was the operations manager, entertainment and operations manager. So I took care of all the entertainment for the game night and the operations, from setting up the images on the board to making sure the dance team had all their stuff set up, the mascot. I took care of everything. Well, I would always get with the ticket sales and sponsorship sales guys and girls to kind of like curate entertainment with what they're doing for their sponsors. Dude, and it really blew my mind how much is paid for in a game, right? Like a t-shirt toss.
Yeah.
There's a company paying for that.
We'll give you 15 grand. Just shoot some of our
Shoot
t-shirts.
some of our t-shirts. We'll buy the t-shirt gun. We'll do this. We'll do this. We want to, and then the promotion guys are like, well, we'll do it first and third time out for this price, or just the first time out for this price.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's it. Like everything is sold. Everything can be marketed and you can make money on a lot of things during a game night. Yeah. And it blew my mind and how they handled sales and getting people in. Like they had one promotion where like fit the free throw. Like if you made 3 free throws, that's a game, right? Like for the fans.
Sponsored by PNC.
Sponsored, right? And the sponsor would pay the prize money if it was made. Yeah. So like everything was sold.
Yeah. Yeah. It's same business, right? Like the teams. So in the office furniture business, we just had this discussion. Somebody said, because of people assume I have a connection with the Steelers. Oh, hey, I want to do their furniture. Who would I talk to? I go, yeah, have fun, man, because they're going to want to trade. So, like, I'm sure that basketball team, if they need office furniture, I get those calls, and I'm like, bro, I don't want to trade. Like I need money. I need cash.
We'll give you a table, sponsorship table.
I will give you tickets. Well, how about we give you? Oh, hey, man, you quoted us $23,000 in chairs. I'll tell you what, man, we're gonna put a banner on the outside of the wall, and we're gonna give you VIP ticket seats for 1 season. How about that? And you give us the chairs. I'm like, no, man, I'm good. We did that in radio advertising. Yeah. Hey, we need a new car. Rick Rimbaldo wanted a new Jag. Hey, man, how much advertising you want for that Jag? And then they go, all right, well, we'll do it on a lease. We won't give it to you. We'll give you a lease, but you're going to run these ads. Yeah, no problem. Now Rick Rimbaldo has a new Jag. I don't think he owns it anymore, though, does he? I think he sold it.
I don't know who owns it now.
It used to be Rimbaldo Communications.
I think they all got bought up like the same company.
Yeah. The
last I heard. Because like I think that then Nash something came out, Bob FM.
Yeah, Bob FM. That's a chain, right? Like,
and then I found out like one media group like owned them all. I'm like, dude, we're getting played. It's like I don't listen to Star 104. I listen to Bob FM. Well, guess what? Yeah, they're owned by the same people. I'm not sure about that, but like that's how a lot of this works, right? And like.
Thankfully, now there's Spotify, because if you wanted spins, as they used to call them, like you Ish drops some bars on an album, and then you go, hey, man, I'm going to get some plays on Star 104, and you make them angry, and then they go, hey, guess what? Ish is out on every radio station, or he's either on every radio station or he's getting nothing on any radio station, because it's 2 companies on all radio stations.
Yeah, that's great. Like the music industry, I know a lot of people in that, and that's crazy. Like
you're better off being a SoundCloud rapper. Get 50,000 fans, you'll make a living.
Yeah, because you keep all your money. Yeah. Here, you're like you have a beef with someone. You're both signed to the same record label. Yeah. This record label's like, fight each other. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Bring me money.
Yeah. And the next thing you know, you're at a Diddy party late night.
No Diddy. Rubbing baby oil all over yourself.
How I got into it was I was selling radio advertising, and One of my clients was Sanner Office Supply. Used to be on State Street. I don't know if you
I
remember
actually
them.
have heard of them for some
Yeah,
reason.
they were like sold supplies. I worked there for 2 years, and I would go to sales calls, and I realized I wasn't going to make a good lot of money in Erie. There's just not enough people. They would barter. They would beat you up on price constantly, and it was like, man, what do you want me to do? I can't. You go, hey, this table's $5,000. I'll give you 2. Come on, man. That's not a reasonable negotiation. Like, maybe you get free delivery. I can go in Kaufman's and buy a table or whatever, if you
Then
remember that name.
why are you talking to me?
Exactly. Or if I want advertising on Relentless and you're like, it's, whatever, $1,000, and they go, I give you 100. It's not that great. I'll give you $100. And you're like, thanks for insulting me, one, and then asking me for something, But so it was like that, and I just had to get into a bigger market. And went to, I got mixed up there. I was selling radio advertising to Sanner. I left there. They found out I left. They called me and they said, why don't you come work for us? That's how I got into office furniture. And I was like, why would I sell office furniture? Once you buy it, you don't need it. Like, what do you mean? You buy it and you're done. They're like, no. These people move this stuff around constantly every year, like Erie Insurance.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
They probably spend a couple $1 million a year on.
We're gonna redo the office, donate all this.
Million. Yeah,
we're gonna get everything now.
Yeah, we have a new product. We're gonna put together a new team, so we're getting all new furniture for this department. This was that. Now we're gonna make it like conferencing spaces. We're gonna get rid of all of our, and then there's the service, of tearing it all down. It's technical, putting those systems together. It has to be done right. It has to be structurally. Panel system with an overhead, weighted overhead on it.
I know it's not the same, but I had to put a dresser together recently.
Yeah.
This dresser came in like 500 pieces.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would pay someone to do it.
Yeah.
Because the 4 hours it's going to, and it required 2 people.
Yeah.
And I did it by myself. And I had to edit a podcast episode that week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in the time that I've taken to put this dresser together, I could have edited my podcast episode, checked 3 things off my list. Like that's a service you provide. Like you don't have to come. We take care of from start to finish.
And now you're a company that does, even if you're, let's say, a small business and you do $4 million a year in revenue, you're not going to have an employee that you pay, with benefits, everything added up together. You're paying them $50 an hour that don't know what they're doing. You're just going to go, just have them call Natural, have them do it. Or we're selling it to them and we go, no, well, and again, structurally, now you're in a business. So a big part of what we sell is a lack of liability. So COVID screens, right? Nobody knew what to do during COVID with their office. We don't know anything about this disease, right? I don't know. How's it spread? I don't know. Because I'm in the office furniture industry, was trying to find out what's the appropriate thing to do in an office. It took me like 6 minutes of research. That's how much reading I had to do because that's all the material. There was no material available.
Social distancing.
So we did the social. Okay, here's the social distancing distances for different circumstances. Everybody was putting plexiglass everywhere, and we were going like, okay, now
such a good time.
Right. But in offices, people are worried about sound. That's a number one complaint in an office. Well, you just put plexiglass everywhere. It's going to reverberate sound. Hey, instead of these acoustical panels, let's put plexiglass on your wall and see how good your podcast sounds. Well, now put 100 people in an office space, put plexiglass everywhere. Sun transfer, heat transfer from the windows, going through 4 clear. Well, I'm putting everybody in plexiglass cubes now. How hot are they going to be? Heat's directly related to fatigue. The hotter I am, the more I get up to walk around, the more I get up. So now my employee that's doing data entry,
the hotter you are, the more you.
Yeah. So
that's why I don't do a lot of moving.
Yeah. That's why you're sweating. So it's like, but it's heat's related to fatigue.
So you think about all this stuff then.
So that's what I do. So that's where people get to mix up and they go, oh, he knows about furniture. It's like, I'm worried about your productivity. I'm thinking about your liability. So with the reason I brought up COVID was when I'm talking to a CFO or something and they're worried about their insurance and all this stuff, I go, we're not putting these dividers up for now because we don't even know if this is going to work. Is it going to help? What we are talking about is 3 years from now when somebody has an injury and you get sued or workman's comp, they go after their workman's comp and they go, hey, you knew this disease came. What'd you do about it? Well, no one knew what to do. But we had a consultant come in and we did the best we could. We took all the information that was available. We put these dividers up. We did. Now, they may not work, but we tried. We did whatever we could do.
You put your best foot
now
forward.
a judge goes, what do you want them to do? This is what everybody in America went through this. At least they did something, right? So.
Yeah, they put
that's the liability.
There's a 7-Eleven in Erie that still has the plexiglass.
Yeah, man.
From COVID.
Bro,
and they never did it before, and then since COVID, they've had it up.
But now I think a lot of these stores just like it. And I don't blame them. If I work at Giant Eagle, people sneezing in your face.
But that's what I'm saying. Because at first I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, that actually makes sense. How many people are talking to you through and then they just sneeze or... That's actually a good thing to have there.
Yeah.
Like my favorite would be the plexiglass.
Yeah.
And then you both meet after the plexiglass to give the money.
I gotta admit, I was guilty of that. I would look around the plexiglass.
But so did the cashier, and I'm like, there was no point for the plexiglass.
You're like, bro, you just made it more. Yeah.
So a lot of silly times, a lot of good things, a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
Before this becomes a clip and I get canceled, I mean, we learned a lot of things on how to, like for example, I use sanitizer like crazy now. If I see a station, I just use it. I don't know why. It's like cleaner. Engraved, but people are more sanitary.
Yeah. Same with offices now, right?
Yeah. We're actually sanitizing our offices.
Yeah, we now know. Well, in just different common practices. Hey, man, you're sick. Stay home. Don't come in here and get everybody sick,
Unless you're a cop and you're like, unless I can't walk, I have to come in.
That's right. Because I want to use my PTO to go to Vegas.
Yeah. I want to use my sick time to sit at home and eat cereal when I'm feeling good.
Yeah. Go do jiu-jitsu.
So you're doing this office stuff So what, do you have a motto? I'm big on the business back end. Do you have a motto? Mine for Relentless Media, one thing I didn't want to do is there's a lot of amazing videographers and photographers. Didn't want to step on their toes.
Yeah.
There's there's a lot of marketing agencies that don't get into this. So I'm affiliated with 247. I know a lot of the fighters and grapplers in the area. So I wanted and people, they are businesses.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can we leverage promoting a fighter, and nothing against these promotions in the sense of the promoters who we have this fighter, we're their promoter. They don't fucking put videos out, content out. They just sign them and they're like, we're their promoters. And then the fighter goes out and finds their own fights.
See it all the time.
And it's what are you promoting?
And they market themselves.
Yeah. You're marketing yourselves through these fighters.
Yeah.
These fighters are your promoters, essentially. That's what it turns into. So it's how can we leverage pushing our fighters without taking from their pockets, right? Because not taking because you're doing a service, but typically how it works is.
But how are you earning your money?
So that's what we're working on. We got a little behind the scenes stuff going on, but
clever.
I didn't want to take from the fighters. I didn't want to take from the fighting promotions. And I don't want to replace the videographers and photographers because there's a lot of great ones.
Yeah.
So how can we make sure that we provide a service that is beneficial to the fighter, to the fight promotion, and you're not taking from either of them?
Gotcha.
So we've developed a way to do that. And the fighter doesn't have to put up $1,000. Right?
The fighters don't have it. That's what people don't get. I talk to
Exactly.
trainers all the time. They go, hey, man, how do you think I could get into training these fighters? And I go, no, the problem is I think you're thinking you're going to get $60 an hour to train a fighter on his cardio. You don't know fighting, and he doesn't have $60 an hour.
Yeah, and all his money is going to camps and
food
and training.
Yeah. Taking time off work to train.
So now we're asking, hey, you need content to blow up, right?
$800 for his fight. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so it's like, how do you not take from that?
Yeah.
You know, so, and we can talk it off camera because I don't want people to steal my ideas. But,
yeah.
So we found a way to like look out for the fighter, look out for the fight promotion, and we're not replacing anything or anyone.
Yeah.
Everyone wins. And like our things from start to finish.
Yeah.
Relentless marketing from start to finish. We don't you don't pay us and then we just give you a video and we're like, hey, here's the video you paid for. Looks great. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're curating the content. We're talking with them like, hey, what do you envision your content looking like? Do you want it to be more behind the scenes? Do you want it to be, because right now it's all training, fight night.
Yeah, you want it to be true to them.
Yeah, like who are you
your
outside of the gym?
Yeah.
Like how can we connect your fans to bridge that gap, right? Because there's one thing that people love, and it's like, oh man, I knew Cody Law before he was in this promote. Like I was watching him fight here locally, or he likes to eat at this place when he's in Pittsburgh. Like people want that connection. They want that belonging. And how do you do that? Through social media. You can get a glimpse into someone's life or perceived life through social media. So like we're trying to find a way, or not find. We've been working on a way to bridge that gap. Yeah. So like we provide we shoot the content because I can't afford to pay someone to do it for us. But eventually we'd like all the local videographers and photographers. Hey, this is what we want you to go get for us. This is we've talked with the fighter. This is his vision. This is our vision for him or her. Like we need you to go. This is your shot. This is your shot. This is your shot. And then we get with the fighter and we're like, hey, this is how we envision your social media going. So we essentially become social media managers, their managers, but not their fight managers, but like their
they're like
so
a business
like kind of like their business manager to make sure that they're leveraging their stuff the best way so that it can transition or convert into eventually ticket sales for their fights. Right. So that's Relentless Media Group.
That's awesome, man. I think it's needed for sure. And then I mean it when I say, like guys like you, like I reached out to, and sometimes I think people view it a little strangely because I think a lot of people don't do it. But when I think I'd listen to your podcast with Demps and Isaac because those are my people. And
for sure.
My support to my people is, oh, you're on this? I'm going to listen to it. Oh, you're on this? I'm going to heart this post, whatever. Like that's the incremental support. So I got you, and then you were like, this dude's from Erie. Man, this guy's, you and Dempsey had the discussion of, this guy's kind of a douchebag. And I don't know if you remember having that conversation with him, but on your podcast, you guys were like, I don't remember exactly how it went, but it was like you guys mutually thinking, who's this guy?
Yeah.
So like tattoos and
beard, and he's cool as fuck.
Pretty guy, You
thought I'm pretty?
Dude. Yeah. Yeah. This is the wooing process of jiu-jitsu. Like the compliments start first, and then talking you do training through your meniscus, and then but anyway. You guys were having that discussion, and I was like, this is a good dude. And then you were from Erie, right?
Yeah.
And then I reached out and was like, and completely, no, whatever, sales pitch. I mean, not that I people are usually on the like, why is this? I don't know this guy. Why is he messaging me? But it was like, I like to try to, if I see something, I message and go, hey man, that was awesome. I think you're doing great. That was a great interview, because I think that doesn't happen enough, and we don't do that enough.
I appreciate that, and that's true. Like as a community, we've taken like, if you compliment someone, they're better than you, or like,
and you're like, fuck that guy. Yeah. He just got a podcast. It wasn't that great.
Like,
it's like, but that's effort, man. It doesn't even matter.
But like, why do we do that?
I don't know. I have a pretty big ego.
Because I'm the first dude to be like, yo, dude, I saw your fight. That was dope. Or if you lost your fight, like I don't want to be that dude. Like, hey man, you did a great job in there. So like, but I'll go in and be like, hey dude, like one, you stepped into a fucking cage to fight another
Yeah.
person. Like, don't beat yourself up. You're
Yeah.
entitled to feel how you feel. And I've done this with a few people they've pulled me backstage. And like, that goes to show, like, I feel like, man, like, okay, I'm doing something right. Like, they pulled me, yo, Ish, man, like this, I fucking lost. And I'm like, they pulled me here.
Down, man. I'm sorry.
They pulled me here because like they're in their head and they want someone who's gonna get them out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
or
I
there's
find
trust. I trust you're not gonna step on me.
Yeah. I find honor in that. I'm like, dude, you fucking trusted me when you're down.
Yeah. Because you know how it feels to not have that person.
Yeah, dude, I've had my whole life growing up.
Yes,
that's why I try my hardest to be that person. I try to be the person I needed. And I always say this to people. I try to be the person I needed when I was growing up. Yeah.
That was one of your questions. And that's what I wrote down but that's what, I intended on getting on this subject. But like Tanner's another one, man. I don't really, so we've been in jiu-jitsu forever. When we see each other forever in a day, Tanner's got to have 13, 14 years. He's up there. We were competing against one another as blue belts. And then there's an incident. I'll show you a video of that.
I just saw a picture of him with a blue belt, and it blew my mind.
And he was bigger. He was bigger.
Yeah, he was a big dude.
Little chubbo a little bit.
I won't say that because he just beat me up the other day. But
yeah. He's a good dude. But he's a great guy. He's always got a smile for you. I know that sounds like gross, but it's true. When you see him, you're just like, he's that guy that if you were in a bad mood, man, you're like, oh, I'm glad to see Tanner. Like, you're always happy to see him. But me saying all this, I don't really know Tanner that well. We don't really, we'll say, yeah, man, I know that guy. We've just been in the same circles forever. We've never had dinner together. We haven't hung out. And not that we wouldn't. I love the dude.
Do you want to go on a date? I could set it up.
I know, bro.
Set it
right?
up, bro.
I was too.
Were you alluding to that?
I was with him the other day. I was too nervous. I was gonna. But I've sent. When I see him and he's going through all this stuff. He just had a kid. He's married, and I was like, I'm really proud of you, man, because he's that guy like you are. He's got things cooking, and he moves. A lot of people have things cooking in their head, but are you moving? And I don't care how long it takes you. If you go, hey, man, I'm going to start a podcast. And then I don't care if it's a year later. I'll be like, man, hey, that guy did it. I remember him telling me a year ago. He did it.
Shuffling your feet.
As
long as you're moving, dude. Move.
You don't have to do it next week because I know there's a dozen people going, yeah, man, he can start. Yeah, 3 months ago he said that. Well, yeah, but sometimes the time's not right. Sometimes I don't care how long it takes you. Tanner's that guy too. I'm working on a deal with Tanner. I hate to say it because I know you're a realtor, and I wish I could give all my children.
No, but this is the way I look at it, dude. When realty is my second thing, right? I love being a cop. This has taken a lot of my passion to like conversations with people and stuff. Realty, I love helping people, but I pick who I work with. Yeah. Like, I'm very specific with who I work with because I want to be intentional that you have my time and you have all of me. So I pick who I work with. When I'm helping clients because it's my secondary job. And there's a trust level that you want. It's the same. Like, I want people to trust me, and I want to trust the person I'm working with because I want people who, and it's been a lot of like cops who've come up to me because like, hey, we share the same interests. I know you're a cop. You're going to look out for my best interest. I know you're a cop and you love what you do, so you're not going to just try to sell me a house. Yeah. It's like when someone understands that, they know what they're getting. Like, you're getting a dude who's going to give you 100%. But you're the only dude I'm working with or the only chick I'm working with. Yeah. So for me to pick someone that we can work together well, like that's why. So when you're like, no, I get it. I understand. This is what he does for a living. I would hope you.
And he does that, and he has other things cooking. He's always got ideas.
Oh,
right?
I know. We sat down and talked with him. I was like, I told him, talked to him about this. I was like, is this a job interview? And he's like, what? I'm like, is this a job interview? He's like, no, we're having lunch. I'm like, okay. Oh, you're fattening me up, huh?
Yeah. So the Compass group. I don't know what group he's with. Is it Compass?
He's with a company he started with this company when they first started. He's a loyal dude.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name off the top of my head, so I apologize.
Yeah,
but
Steel City Realty. Yeah, or whatever.
it's
but
like a short name, and I can't.
yeah.
But no, he
Pinecone.
wants to do stuff with
We'll call it
jiu-jitsu, so
Pinecone.
we've been talking about that.
Yeah.
So you may see a collab coming out.
Nice.
But,
But my point being is, I call, there's real estate agents I know, I know better than him, that I've known longer or I've known, but I kind of knew this about Tanner. Tanner and I drove back from Cincinnati together. That's probably the most time we ever spent with, Cincinnati. So we were like, he had a match and Isaac had a match and I was going back early. He wanted a ride. So I gave him a ride back and we got to talk. But on that conversation, I was able to figure out, man, like this is a serious dude. He's a good guy and he doesn't, I mean, it's fine to have dreams and go, I'd like to do this one day, but I have kids and I have this. That's fine. I don't have a problem with those guys, but I'm also not going to jump into business with them. Not that we're starting a business. We're looking at a piece of property.
There's a saying, say what you do and do what you say.
Exactly. So, and for me owning a business and this property's related to my business, I can't mess around. I can't be the one. I'm the problem solver in my company. I need a, if it's realty, I'm not the expert, man. I need you to be my expert.
I need a problem solving.
I need you to be the problem solver. Yeah. And I can tell you this, I reached out to him for a property. We went, it was a dud. We walked through right away, like within a day, 2 days, whatever it was. He was like, yeah, man, I'm busy, but I can meet from, I'm tight, but I'll meet you there. He was there. The next one I liked even better because it was like, I go, what do you think? He ran down. Here's the problems. Here's the upsides. He was willing to tell me the problems. Sometimes real estate agents go, they just they think they're supposed to sell you the property. I need you to be my consultant and I will use you forever.
That's what a real estate agent is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But, and I will shit on the fucking industry because one reason I got into it was because like, man, I fucking hate the same reason I became a cop. I didn't understand it. And I was like, all cops are assholes.
Yeah.
Like coming where I came from, that was my understanding.
Yeah, yeah.
And
you're not entirely wrong. I mean, have you met Eric McAlpine?
but here's the thing, like, sit down with that person and listen to, and not that it excuse what they're going through, but like, you had like, I was having a conversation. I was on another podcast, and he's like, "Well, like this cop was like mean to me on a traffic stop." Yeah, and I was like, "He was mean to you?" Like in my mind, I'm like,
"Yeah."
That's unfortunate.
He may have just watched somebody die, though.
And like I was like, I've been to calls where I just watched an infant pass away.
Yeah,
and then I get called to a raccoon in someone's yard, and it takes me 15 minutes, and now you're pissed off because it took me 15 minutes to come shoo the raccoon out of your yard.
Yeah. So
like, doesn't justify me treating you.
However,
I
got shit on my mind.
But like.
I'm a human being.
Yeah, so like I did get there. He said, "What took you so long?" And I was like, "It's a raccoon.
Yeah,
like you'll be okay." And he's like, "Well, who peed in your cereal this morning?" And like I realized I came off a little hasty, and I'm like, "I'm sorry." Like, I'm like, "Oh, the raccoon ran away. Is there anything else I can do for you?" Well, what if he comes back?
Yeah.
So get a broomstick.
Yeah.
And like he didn't like how I talked to him. And in my mind, I'm like, "Dude, you're calling about a raccoon."
Yeah.
Like. But that doesn't justify that behavior, right? Because we should be bigger and better. But he's like, fuck, I'm that guy.
No. This was like, it was a much different scenario.
But it doesn't justify me treating you like that. But it's a double token, right? Like if I go to a house and I'm having my best day, I just had coffee, I didn't have a call all morning, I've just been driving up and down, my best songs are playing on the radio.
The T Swift is on.
Yeah, T Swift is on, I'm jamming, Mariah Carey, Christmas is going. I get to a call, something simple, and you berate me.
Yeah.
Like,
is your body camera on?
I don't get to be like,
supervisor.
I don't get to berate you now.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, you may be going through, like, you just called me on your worst day. Like, you don't call the police to go, "Hey, bro, how you doing? You having a good day?" "I'm having a great day. I just wanted to check in, see how you guys were doing." Right? That doesn't happen. When someone calls the police, it's probably the worst time of their day.
Yeah. Yeah. Or their life.
Or their life. So we should approach
Yeah.
understanding that.
Of course,
And I
yeah.
tend to do that, right? So if someone berates me, I'm not here like, oh, fuck you. What's your fucking problem? You're having a bad day. I'm having a great day. Why are you having a bad? Like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
But when a cop shows up and he may not be having the best day, they're like immediately fucking shit on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it's all, and it all comes down to this: cop, no cop, jiu-jitsu, no jiu-jitsu business, having mutual respect for people.
It is.
That's all it is. And we as humans forget that, right? Like, we see a black belt on the mat and he gets tapped. It's like, dude, fucking sucks, man. He got tapped.
Yeah.
It's like, bro,
Yeah.
it was a, like,
Dude, welcome to my, yeah.
it's like, dude, he probably had an off day. Like, everyone has an off day.
Or he's been rolling. This is my favorite. So
for 6
bro,
hours.
go to the Mat Factory and Cody Gamble's a purple belt. Go roll with him, and if he you know what I mean.
And
like,
I know he wasn't going full blow with me.
Who, Cody?
Cody, dude,
Yeah, yeah.
rolled. He's the one who made me throw up.
Bro.
I was rolling with Cody Gamble. I'm like, how can you be 260 pounds
And move like that.
And
He's
move-
270 now, by the way. But
okay,
go ahead.
270
Yeah.
and move like a ballerina.
Yeah.
He is nimble
Yeah.
and fast and 270
And knows,
pounds.
and knows where to go. And you know, he's a good wrestler. So yeah, that's I mean, I know that threw us off, but
no,
it's a legit so you know, getting my black belt, because the struggle is real, dude. Once you get the belt, for whatever reason, I'm dumb brown belt, boom, 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 no responsibilities, kind of, right? And then you get your black belt, and literally that day, head hunting. Oh, I'm gonna tap this motherfucker.
no.
Oh, he has black belt. And you know, some people, right? I mean, it's human nature. Some people are like, I don't think you should have got it. Other people are like, oh, cool, you got it. Let me work you. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like when you get your blue belt. You've
Same.
been
Yeah.
rolling with black
These
belts,
white
and you're
belts.
like, oh man, I almost had him in something, right?
Yeah.
You get your blue belt and you roll with the same black belt, and then you just get destroyed. You're
Yeah.
like, wow, I fucking suck now.
Yeah.
It's like,
no,
no,
we do that.
you just got greenlit because now you've proven you can defend yourself.
Yeah, because there I'm like, I'm just trying to let you, well, I don't want you to quit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, or I'm just trying to stay ahead of you. There's a dude named Craig Tyler. He just started coming back. He's a black belt, shout out. But he was an OG. He left for a while. Now he's back, but he was one of the originals that came over. And he was like a blue belt when I was a white belt. And I was like, man, I'm going to get Craig this time. I'm going to get him tonight. It took me years to learn. He was just staying ahead of me, so I got good training. He could have destroyed me. He just was like, nah, this isn't fun for me. I'm just going to like kind of stay ahead of him and just stay right out of his way, you know?
That's the best way. Like, honestly, if you want to improve people, that's
That
the
is.
best way to do it.
It is.
Stay one step ahead.
Yeah.
Let them get in something. Let
Yeah.
them work it. Then rip it from them.
But it is frustrating when this happens all the time. I'm rolling for 90 minutes with Cody Gamble, literally. And then some blue belts like, hey, man, you want to roll? Like, yeah, man, let's roll. And then they take my back, and they're like, bro, I almost had him. Dude, you just walked in. You did 3 warm-up rounds.
Just let 'em have
and then
it. Like,
I
yeah,
just had, well,
you
and that
almost
is,
had it.
that's what it is. You know what? One of the things we have discussion is, like I told you, I have a neck. A lot of people at the Mat Factory are cool, and they go, hey, man, is your neck okay? And I'm like, bro, let's just roll. I know how to protect my neck. If I have an issue, I'll tap. You know how many times I tap just because I'm like, this doesn't look good? Not that I'm in a submission, but I'm in a weird position where I think I'm 50 years old. I'm not walking out of here with an injury where I can't work for 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
Tap,
Yeah.
your meniscus. That's one of the things that I think that people are losing in jiu-jitsu, and that's what you have to do. And it's like, it becomes an ego thing, and I understand, because you know the white belt, the 3-stripe white belt that you tap to, because you were like, no, dude, my shirt was caught in my toe was caught in your shirt, and I'm not ripping your shirt and doing this. I'll just tap, we'll reset, no big deal. And they're like, bro, I got him to tap. That's a difficult one, but you have to get past that. Well, let him think what he wants. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, that's easily
know?
solved.
Yeah. You smash him.
Let's come
after.
again. Like, see me
It
next
is,
week. Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
quick thing to solve. That's why I love jiu-jitsu, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it can go either way depending
Yeah.
on circumstance. But, like, more times than not, it's going to go the right way.
Yeah.
And that can be solved easily.
And when
Best
that
measurement.
guy becomes purple belt, brown belt, he's going to go, oh, I wasn't getting
And
like
they come to you. You were letting me go the whole time.
yeah, they're like I did with Craig. I was like, man, I'm close. I'm gonna get this guy. Well, I wasn't close, but I thought for years. I thought that, you know.
Luckily, I learned that very quick.
Yeah.
I learned that very quick.
Or
like I was rolling with a couple of one of your brown belts.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of your black belts. I forget. But it was Cody Gamble. Then I went to him, and it was a quote unquote easier roll.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, he's just being very sweet to me. And
You don't know who it was?
If I see the picture, I don't know who it was. It was in our group. It was one of the guys in our group picture.
Oh, nice.
From that day. So, and like, I'm like going, he's letting me try things out and stuff. I'm like, I mean, I still got folded like a pretzel after, but you know, it gives you that, like, it gives you the reps of going through stuff with intelligent resistance. So like you're still building, you're getting better, you're working different things, and you're not just getting smashed and feeling hopeless. Yeah. Like if you go into a place and get smashed, you're not going to want to go again.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of the things that we were like, the Mad Factory was different about the Mad Factory is, I teach a class now on Thursdays, a gi class at the Mad Factory. J Pip, do you know Justin Pippins? Big black dude.
I've heard of him.
He's the one with the viral video where he at high rollers where he picks the guy up in the arm bar and he throws him down and then he does like the eek, like the girl like, oh, oops. And he like tries to brush it off. That's Justin Pippins. He's probably like 240 or something. He's like 20 pounds on me. We were rolling. You know, we were doing live drills at to finish the class, and then we did like a big round at the end, and I had Jay, and we were going at it, and I'm out of shape. I haven't been rolling a lot, and I felt myself break, you know, by breaking. Like I just kind of like was like, I felt it in me like, I'm done, right? While we're rolling. Jay at literally the same time, he goes, that's what happens when you're out of shape. I didn't say anything to him. He felt it. He felt me crack. And that's one good thing about that Isaac teaches at the Mad Factory and Dempsey's good at is feeling when somebody breaks and then putting it on them. And there, it's not like, oh, this guy's a 50-year-old, but he's like, no, he's putting it on me. He's like, shouldn't have broke because now I'm going to make you work. And it's like, now I'm going to make you quit. And you need that. You if you're going to compete and then like, my goal is to have a world. To me, that's a teammate. As much as I get irritated, as much as I'm like, you're heavier, you're this, you're younger, doesn't matter. Who cares? You know what I mean? And that's one of the things about our team, I think. And Stout, you guys have a team like that. I mean, like I know Mike Wilkins, if you break, I'm sure he's going to put it on you or Warren. Oh, yeah. It's you know what I mean? You have guys like that there too.
I was just told this yesterday when we're at the fights. It's like, when he finds your breaking point, it depends what you're training for, right?
Yeah.
If you want to be the best, compete, fight, they're searching for your breaking point.
Yeah.
And then they're going to exploit it because they want you to be better. You know what I mean? So like, I think everyone should be pushed to their breaking point.
You have to. And it's like, no rounds off, but it used to be you went into the room. The room is the room. We have like 15-year-old kids that come in that room. You can stay, but we're not changing the room. And they do. Like a lot of them break, but a lot of them don't. I mean, we have this kid Blaze and man, the other kid, I even know him better. I just can't place his name right now.
That's all right. I forgot Chris Dempsey's last name.
Yeah.
In the one
Everybody
episode.
calls him Dempsey. But man, those guys they're like 17 or whatever. They come and we beat the shit out of them. I told Liam Jones, was rolling with, little Liam Jones.
Yeah.
I took him to the woodshed.
He's supposed to come on with his parents.
Dude, he's great. His dad's good, dude. I took him to the woodshed, and while I was on top of him, I go, bro, I was like, you're going to go to show and tell and tell everybody what it's like to roll with a real live black belt. And he's like, he just laughing on the bottom, and it's like, I'll talk shit to him.
Dude, it's so funny because he's so damn good.
He's great.
He like rolls with adults.
He went to, I was at ADCC West Coast Trials with Dempsey and those guys. And his dad is at the counter arguing with the official. Like he was there. Liam was there for the Open the day before. So the next day, his dad's down there like negotiating with them to let him run ADCC trials at 15 or whatever. And he was like, they let him in. They're like, the guy's like, The guy, he broke the guy. The guy's like, fine, whatever. And good for good for him. And he won his first match. He's a 15-year-old kid at ADCC trials and wins a match.
Yeah, he's impressive.
Yeah.
He's very impressive. Guess how long we've been going?
It's a long time, man.
Oh, take a guess.
2.5.
Okay, well, that was pretty spot on.
Was it?
Weird.
I just threw it
usually
out
we're like
there.
an hour, and I'm like,
Oh, really? Yeah, I can
No.
talk, man.
no, I love it. I love it because this is what, this did not feel that long.
Yeah.
But
And I didn't have to stop. I didn't have to take
Yeah,
a break. I did it even with the
breaks.
tequila. Yeah.
So after everything's said and done, man, your story is, dude, you will be back because there's like 1,000 episodes.
Dude, we didn't get in the. I had stories prepped.
Dude, I know, but that's the beauty of these raw
Yeah.
podcast. Like, I don't do this editing shit and like, we're gonna do that. No, it's like what we talk about is what we talk about.
We're smooth, bro.
But what is your messaging like after this episode? That because someone's listening to this in their drive to work or their drive to jiu-jitsu, right? Everyone at your gym, or someone who's followed the podcast and like, oh, this dude sounds cool. Like, what message do you want people to take from today's episode?
I think it's kind of like the most important thing I'd like to see more of in the world is what we were talking about, where I said I reached out to you, where I tried to change myself, where I went from being that jealous guy watching Instagram going, podcast's not that great. Everybody has that in them, right? And then I started going, hey, man, let me reach out to this guy and just tell him he's doing a good job. Because who knows? Maybe he doesn't care. I don't care. Maybe I feel weird. Maybe he looks at it as weird or whatever the case. It's not about your reaction to it. It's what I'm putting out in the world. You don't know when that's going to hit somebody, and you don't know if a lot of people don't. Being a person who goes out and does a lot of things, you get way more shit. You get trashed way more than you get validation.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I'm sure you feel this way. I feel like imposter syndrome, and I feel like this. And every once in a while, I have to take a look back and I go, oh, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Even reaching out for the podcast, I'm like, man, I actually kind of did do a lot of stuff, right? I have a lot of experience.
Yeah, dude, I'm sitting here like, holy, that's going to be a good episode.
I go, oh, why would anybody want to talk to me? You know what I mean? So I think put that out in the world when you see somebody doing that. And I would say go the people you hate and really self-analyze and go, why is it because I want to be them? Is it because I'd rather? And if that's the case, then I challenge you, man. Send that dude a message or that woman a message and just go, I think you did awesome on that part. Whatever it is.
That's a huge request.
Yeah.
Because
it's hard to do
that. If you can do that as a person, you're growing.
Takes practice. Took me a lot of years to get there. Because I didn't even know I was a hater.
I don't hate anyone.
The term hater.
No, but I used to be that person you're describing. Yeah. Like, before even giving anything time of day, I'm like, oh, that's fucking stupid.
And your life will be better too, man. My life's better when I'd rather look at Instagram and be like, man, he's just killing it. Man, Tanner's killing it.
No, I appreciate that because that's when I get those messages.
Yeah,
I read it, and I mean, you saw my response, and I'm like, dude, this means a lot to me.
Yeah,
good, bad, or in between. Like, I welcome all of the feedback because at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about the podcast. It's about the people who come on, right? Like, everyone has a story to tell. And if everyone could share their story, there'd be no hate in the world because we'd all understand each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there would be no hate in the world because you'd be like, man, that dude, he's done some cool shit. He's been through some shit and he's still here. Like, I can look up to that dude.
Yeah.
And what you would realize is a lot of people go through shit and don't talk about it until they hear someone talk about it and they're like, oh, man, like, dude, I went through that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I should reach out to him.
The Claire one, the Claire up, the one with Claire.
The one with Claire.
I don't know her last name.
Butterfield.
Sorry, Claire. Butterfield. I saw her at the Mat Factory. Otherwise, I was going to message her. Well, first of all, I saw that there was one up. I go, I see her all the time. I don't really know her.
Same.
Right? I've been to dinner with her, and it's probably me talking. Me and Dempsey were yelling at each other. We were at like Worlds or Trials or something. She was at dinner with us, and I maybe talked to her for 30 seconds, probably because she couldn't get a word in with us. But I was like, I'm going to listen to this because I don't know her, but I see her everywhere. And then I saw her at the Mat Factory. Otherwise, I would have sent her an Instagram message and been like, hey, man, great interview. Great job. Like, I was happy to know a little more about kind of a teammate, right? We travel. We're in the same circles, traveling and all that kind of stuff. So I want her to do well. Like, I want you to do well at jiu-jitsu. It's like, why aren't we, and I think we do in jiu-jitsu. I think it's the rest of the world that needs to learn that,
I agree, man. I think if everyone, and it's all about consideration. I'll end it with that.
Yeah.
It all comes down to consideration. If you were just considerate of people, dude, the world would be a better place, right? Like, you do something I don't like, or you say something I don't like.
Yeah.
Consideration would be like, hey, bro, I didn't appreciate that. This is how I took it. Like, what was that about?
Yeah.
That affords
that's awesome.
you the opportunity to go,
yeah,
oh, that wasn't my intention at all.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I did it. Now we become understanding.
Yeah. And now I see it differently and go, no, I meant it. Oh, I
can
see why
how that came off that way.
You know what, man? I'm sorry. And then now we can move forward.
And I
agree.
And
yeah,
it's
hard
taken
to
me
do.
a long time, but like, I am almost overly considerate.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, people, my friends or whatever, they're like, dude, why are you doing, like, you're not getting anything out of that. I'm not trying to get anything out of that. I find enjoyment,
enlightenment
in helping people and like pushing people, like knowing you have a business. I'm going to leave here like, man, how can like this episode push his business to the next level or help him like push that?
Same.
Like, I'm not asking for $1. Payment to me is like, next year seeing your business take off and I'm like, oh, that's fucking dope. I knew it. I was hoping for that.
Yeah.
Like, that's payment for me. It's like, dude's fucking business took off. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I want people who I've associated with to just excel. And like, all it takes is consideration. It's everything you said. Be considerate of your neighbor. That's how we'll end it.
Yeah.
Be considerate
awesome, man.
of your neighbor. Bro, I appreciate you for jumping on, man. This has been, dude, it felt like we were not even here long.
I know. It's awesome, man. Yeah, I can do. Yeah. It's
I love it.
Two of the Erie guys.
Two Erie guys. We're going to have to shoot this shit again.
Yeah, man. Anytime you want.
This is the one with Brian Marzka, and we are out. Later.